place to be.
Let it rock. That feeling. My calculations are correct. Your finger should be making its way to the volume button. Go ahead. Don't worry, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. Well, alright. I am not on social media for my health, bitch. Quit playing with me, you know I'm trying to sell shit. I go harder than she just came on a period. That line killing the radio like FM. Are you serious? I'm in the world where God can't even rest your soul. Soon as they bury you, they put your hologram on the roll. Since Yellow Pages never was I ever known to fold. Before algorithms hit, I've been known to code. And that is forwards and backwards. Depending on when you knew me, I was in more box than passwords. The day fast, I'm past Earth. These niggas remind me of Tower 2. Bad to worse. You being the last I lap is the only way you back in first. About to be on my way, but who all over there? Who all over there? Who all over there? Is it any hoes yet? Who all over there? Who all over there? Who all over there? Cause I ain't seen no post about it. Who all over there? Who all over there? Who all over there? What's the drink situation? Who all over there? You know I mess with everybody. Who all over there? Wanted to be a Huxtable like a kid on the block. Denise fine ass had this youngin' glued to the box. So Steele Gordon Gartrell was tucked down in his socks. Cat on the wall telling eyes, added groove to the clock. Public school in my backyard was money from any distance. All of this to say I still give broke niggas the business. Add cream to the coffee to get these woke niggas interested. Kill a beat in front of your killers and then kill off all the witnesses. Billy Clinton a problem, it's an honor that we got him. Play with him, we bringin' toys and we spoil my nigga rotten. If you slept on him, keep sleeping on him, dog. You on the road, any game cold, you gotta bring the field and the goals. I'm about to be on my way, but who all over there? Who all over there? Who all over there? Is it any hoes yet? Who all over there? Who all over there? Who all over there? Cause I ain't seen no post about it. Who all over there? Who all over there? Who all over there? What's the drink situation? Who all over there? You know I mess with everybody. Who all over there? I was about to kick a third verse, and I got in my feelings like, man, you niggas don't deserve that feeling, man. Like, y'all really don't deserve that feeling, bro. I mean, you gon' get that feeling, but you don't deserve that shit. Yeah.
Nobody. Yeah. Look, not good at that intro shit, you know what I'm saying? Talking whatever. A lot of people been acting like shit, man. So when you gonna drop a song, you know what I'm saying? Enough of all that talking though, let me get straight to it.
Look, I think it's obvious that I'm the fucking man now. Oh, they see the potential, or you a fan now. Even though they counted me out, I still stood 10 toes down. Critics boosting my confidence, help me stand my ground. Shit, I know better than the average nigga. Even though it's ghetto ties, I'm still the wise than the average figure. I play the cold shoulder, cause when it's all over, people seem to look at you sideways like a bad bitch with an attitude. I'm straightforward, don't get mad at dude. My time is due from struggle pain that passed through. I pay homage to OGs that paved the way, cause they helped me see sunny days on rainy days. Yeah, now that's the realest shit you ever heard. A good split will leave you higher than a fucking bird. To keep it real, I'm tryna be up in the birds, waving hands up on the curve, that's the shit that I deserve. Yeah, that good living, nigga. I'm tryna own multiple business, tryna seek better vision, speak to existence. The tongue is mighty powerful, though. Speaking of this show, swear to God, man, I'm different from these other artists. While other niggas, they half-stepping, they feeling puzzled. Yeah, Yeah, I'm from the bottom of the map, but it's hard to come out. Boy, watch your mouth, don't get killed for clout, don't get killed for pride. Be patient and try to provide for the ones that held you down with no suit and tie. Nigga, I speak jewels, nigga, I spit facts. You ain't a real one if you don't take care of your loved ones. Yeah, and I'm speaking as the oldest one. I'm the only one and the only son. I hate to be the one that do this shit all the time, but time never wasted. I've been the realest since birth, ain't no point in hating. My conscience on a different level, you niggas basic. I'm trying to see on how far I can take it. This music that is, cause most people they get to it and don't know where it is. Nigga, look, put me in that bitch, I guarantee they gon' notice all this shit I drip. I'm from the east, surprised you ain't really know that shit. Look, this just a sample, ain't no need to trip, nigga.
Tragic story in Far Rockaway, Queens.
Officers tell us there was a large spray of gunfire. They collected numerous bullet casings from the street.
A man survived after he was shot 9 times.
Police think the shooters were 3 men armed with handguns.
He is expected to be okay. Police would not comment on a motive. They are still investigating.
It seems. There's been a line drawn in the sand.
Go crazy, AG.
Amen. Yeah, this shit keep playing around with my conscience. I gotta rewind the moment. How the fuck niggas creep through the hood, middle of the day, nobody stroking. How? Sound like a setup to me. Tupac in Vegas, they wet up the V. I come from the jungle, was let up the tree. You better come better, you checkin' for me. Now shots got me feeling like 50. Know they upset, want to do me like Nancy. I'm from the streets, too temperamental. Might double back on the 60. Open case, hope the camera don't click me. Couple killers, they wanna assist me. Coco calling on shit like a gypsy. Percocet got me feeling no mixy. Ride for my dog, so imagine the left of the man in my mirror. Ain't for his mouth, like it up close. I shoot the switch like a swisher. Extended my hand to my niggas. Would've gave him a lung or a liver. Couldn't swim, would've jumped in the river. Had no food, would've gave him my dinner. No cap, make me shit get deeper than rap. Run through the flip, top of clothes on his back. Was standing right there when the nigga got clapped. You not gonna give up the nigga that clapped. Cool, you know I don't play by the rules. Hollow suits, let him stick to his fool. Tattoo gotta cover the wounds. You got away, I just thank God I made it another day. I've been thinking like what would my mother say. See no evil, I'm looking the other way. We at war, but it's not in the brother way. When I catch him, I promise a closed casket. Brody be calling me old fashioned. Rock about baby, then toe tag him. LPP in his dope platinum. 4 in the arm, 2 in the stomach, 1 in the chest, 1 in the ass. Just got a name, we on his ass. We went through my thighs, still in my abs. And baby, forgive me, I've been on the road. Cause you keep on talking relationship goals. I married the money, I'm out of control. I feel like a stripper, I slide with the pole. Blood in my eyes, murder she wrote. Only we on it the gangway. Extorting these rappers, send them to clap and hope we don't go out like Treyway. Don't forgive me, emotions I wear on my sleeve. This codeine is kicking, it's just in my spleen. This 42 big, it don't fit in my jeans. And you know these shits is a Mary. Swear this shit is about to get scary. Think about it, I think Bloody Mary. I'm a lot to my door, not to worry. Rappers said do him like Jason Terry. FBI trying to shovel and bury. Know I'm coming in flurries. Ain't stop until I know the picture is clear. Shot in the head, watch the blood out his head. Run up again, nigga, I double dare. Fuck what you promise, my nigga, I swear I'm embedded in this, I'ma play to the death. Weak in the stomach, she catching her breath. Last of a breathe, only one left. Look to the heavens, I need some rest. Matter of fact, nigga loaded the grit, trying to stretch him. But do me a nigga like Conway. And that's no disrespect, shout out Griselda. I'd have been shot more than Conway. Dirty Harry, I do him the long way. But for sure, rather go the Saddam way. Through the wire, I'm feeling like Kanye. Baby boy, eat them shits like an entree. Refund, I turn this shit to a threesome. I up on the broom and I sweet son. Flesh on my flesh, I'm a lean son. I put that on my mother, my brother, my sister, my cousin. You bugging, you think I ain't coming? Don't make that assumption. It's not for discussion. Turn was to it wasn't. Can I please get it? Amen.
One life is all you get. So I'ma do what I gotta do with it.
far Rockaway on the map. Still never leave the house without the strap. What more can I say? God made me like that. I still got New York City on my back. Still putting far Rockaway on the map. Still never ever leave the house without the strap. What more can I say? God made me like that. These niggas couldn't survive my era. Don't matter what you reppin', we was riding on whoever. I gotta speak in past tense, yeah. So the feds don't harass him. Ask them, we was young and wild, life of crime, all we knew. If I ain't have $1, I was taking it from you. Fuck school, shit ain't teach us nothing anyway. When it come to getting money, I done got it many ways. Plenty days, many nights. It was either go to bed hungry or go outside and risk life. And that's what we did. Some of us seen bids. Some niggas couldn't take the pressure, sang to the pigs, such a shame. I mean, we said we would never drop names, but then I read everything you said. Type of shit you see once, can't get out your head. Can't kill them, so you just cut them off instead. Still got New York City on my back. Still putting far Rockaway on the map. Still never leave the house without the strap. What more can I say? God made me like that. I still got New York City on my back. Still putting far Rockaway on the map. Still never ever leave the house without the strap. What more can I say? God made me like that. Hard to sleep when your stomach and your back is touching. I make sure my kids ask for nothing, ask for me. Paint pictures masterfully. Make your bitch do a double take, damn me flee. Cannon squeeze for misunderstanding me. You a whole pussy boy and your mans is squeeze. It's grind time. I'm good with a quick 100K. A nigga got 100 schemes to flip it 100 ways. Bust a K in your face if I sense you hating. Do away with you right away, no sense in waiting. Thought I'd never see brighter days, but then I made it. Never cared what nobody say, stay dedicated. Now I'm everybody's favorite, Holly's favorite. Look how everybody waving, but don't think I don't see the haters. I'm on my way up, no coming down. Y'all niggas stay up, see you when I come around. Clowns. Still got New York City on my back. Still putting far Rockaway on the map. Still never leave the house without the strap. What more can I say? God made me like that. I still got New York City on my back. Still putting far Rockaway on the map. Still never ever leave the house without the strap. What more can I say? God made me like that.
Hey yo, I am power. In the belly of the beast, I'll never be devoured. Take a walk with me through the stomach of the institution. I just saw a problem running down the street from solution. I just saw a vampire sucking on the economic neck of the world we live in, and his teeth were electronic. I just saw a little boy beating up a Catholic priest. I just saw a half woman, but the other half was beast. In the kitchen baking up thirsty niggas she had to eat. Take a walk with me through the institutional factory. Oh, what a masterpiece. What a pursuit of the happy bee. Where nobody's living happily. In okie doke, yo, it had to be. We look outside of ourselves and criticize while we hiding ourselves. People are robbing, killing, and starving, but we still proud of ourselves. The world is turning, civilization is burning. Nobody's learning, nobody has a discernment. And I'm just trying to tell the truth, but fuck it like, am I? empty me out of me ought to be. All that I ought to be audibly. This is an audible odyssey and could be part of the prophecy, part of me. So pardon me and pardon the part of me that flow from the artery wholeheartedly, heartily. I fail to go, gotta leave, gotta let you know. Gotta be what I need and the rest to show. Rest assured I'm next to blow and the rest to know what you already did. I talk it, I walk it, I are what I is. I am what I said I was, I'm who I were. That's why I do what I did. Yeah, I am silence. I am here to bring the noise and peace and the violence. I am all around, I'm everywhere, yet I am nowhere. I will take you to a place and tell you not to go there. I will look you in the face and tell a lie with honesty. My arrogance will not be televised without my modesty. The world is turning, civilization is burning. Nobody's learning, nobody has a discernment. I'm just really trying to tell the truth for real, but who am I?
Good evening. This is Jai Logic, and you're watching the Evening Rant. I want to say give thanks to everybody who pulled up in the chat so far. Amaz Vision, Kennedy, Redemption, Keenan Kong, Shan P, Loyvel, C. Dot, Shan P, Mr. Jones. If I forgot anybody, please forgive me. But, give thanks to you all for pulling up and spending this Wednesday evening with us. You know what I'm saying? Happy hump day, as they like to say. Hope everybody's week is going well so far. Without further ado, let me bring on my first panelist for the day, or the evening rather, while everybody else gets ready. My guy, Schoolboy. What's up with you, player? What's going on with you, man? How's your week going, bro? How's your week going? You seem like you're not with the shits.
Yeah, man. Like sometimes this the way that the week goes, sometimes I feel a little bit uneasy at times. And we're going into some holiday season, so I'm kind of like, what's going to be the mark that I'm hitting this week? But we'll see.
Holiday season is always on some weird shit, you know what I mean? But hopefully we can push through and be there for each other, you know what I'm saying? We got a few more panelists coming in a minute. But what I will say for starters, I want to salute the man in, I want to say, Italy. So this is somewhat of a COVID update. Salute to the Italian anti-vaxxer. I don't know which one of these tabs I had open started playing that shit. Excuse me, but salute to the anti-vaxxer, and in Italy, I believe he's 50 years old, who tried to dodge the COVID vaccine by wearing a fake arm, but he's now facing charges. But the man went into the He went, all right, so Italian anti-vaxxer, this comes to us from Daily Mail, by the way. Italian anti-vaxxer, 50 years old, tried to dodge the jab, but having it injected into a fake arm. He tried to persuade medics to jab the silicone limb even after they rumbled him. I don't know what they mean by rumbled him, but that's what it says. Also, it says, man now faces fraud charges after he was reported to police over the incident. So they snitched on him. They didn't just let him go home. And I guess that might have something to do with the way they phrased it, rumbled him. I don't know what that means across the pond when you rumble somebody.
Yeah, they folded his ass up and threw him away somewhere.
He's 50 years old, though. All right. So after they snitched on him, the man now faces charges after he was reported to police over the incident. It is thought he was trying to get a green pass needed to get into bars and cinemas. So my man, he went. I want to say salute to that man. He tried. You know what I mean? What can you do to stop a man from trying? You feel me? So salute to him. He tried. All right.
So you're gonna salute. You're gonna salute the fact that this man wanted to go to the bars and to the movies, and now he's facing fraud charges after being rumbled.
He would have been, after being rumbled, he would have been a hero had he got away with it, though. He would have been a legend, rather. He would have been a legend.
Yeah, that would have been the Reddit, ask me any question. Let me tell you how I took a silicone arm into some medical professionals, had them shoot this shit, and then walked out of there.
It's fucked up what Kennedy say, that's just ignorant of fake arm, laugh out loud. And Lorvell says, the Rant is union where the magic happens. That's a fact. And they saluting you out there, schoolboy. And Redemption says, salute, just drove through the neighborhood on a fire truck, the Burbs. Yo, you went on the fire truck?
No, Santa just drove through the neighborhood.
All right, Santa just drove through the fire truck. Okay. Salute to the firemen. The firemen dressed as Santa in the Burbs. All right, so last episode, which should be on Patreon already, but isn't. It'll be on Patreon soon. We got a little loose. We meaning me. I'll flip the W. And just say me. You know what I mean? Got a little tipsy, a little in my feelings, a little emotional about, the verses. And it's the way it went down and shit. So we're gonna try to start on a more informative note today. That's what we're gonna try to do. We're gonna try to start out on a more informative note, and I believe Schoolboy has a story he wants to bring to us. So I have the video pulled up. So introduce it. I'll press play. Ready when you are, brother.
Yo, we're talking about the Texas. I believe we're talking about Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
There we go. So Texas. There's an alarm going off from activists around the country, and we're focusing on Texas today because their case is going before the authorities in terms of they're redistricting these maps so that to take away power from Black people and Latinos. But let's see and then talk about it for a minute.
Cruise down Jefferson Avenue in the Oak Cliff neighborhood of Dallas, next to the iconic Texas Theater where Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested, and you'll see the color and flavor that makes it one of the most prominent Latino neighborhoods in the city. But civil rights activists in Texas say it's the kind of neighborhood severely impacted by the way Texas Republicans have redrawn the state's congressional maps. The activists say neighborhoods like Oak Cliff are crammed into fewer minority districts to dilute the vote of Latinos, Blacks, and Asians.
The growth in Texas is fueled by Latinos, 2 million of them, and Blacks, Asians, and other communities of color. If we don't pay attention to this and we don't demand that Latinos are represented, we will find ourselves with no representation.
Texas is the only state in the country that is getting 2 new congressional seats because of the state's population growth. Non-white Texans account for 95% of that new growth. And according to the latest census data, white Texans make up just under 40% of the population. Latinos are now about the same percentage of the population. The Black population is almost 12%, and Asians are about 5%. Civil rights groups say the 2 newly created congressional districts in Texas are drawn to give white and likely Republican candidates an advantage. The white voting age population tops over 50% in 23 of the 38 congressional districts in Texas. The Latino voting age population is the majority in 7 districts. Black and Asian voters do not make up the majority of the population in any congressional district. The way some of these congressional lines are drawn does raise some eyebrows. Let's take a closer look at the map. Down here in this corner is the city of Denton. Lately, it's been trending bluer, but it's now drawn into a map that extends hundreds of miles out into the West Texas Panhandle, heavy Republican territory. And if you take a closer look at the Fort Worth and Dallas area, look at this district and the way it's drawn. It stretches from Fort Worth and kind of hooks its way around into Dallas County. And it surrounds another district that one person described to me that it looked like a dragon spitting fire, this district right here. And when you zoom out, you realize that that district actually is a rural district that makes its way all the way out into East Texas. Despite this, the Texas Republicans who led the redistricting efforts insist the new political boundaries for state and congressional districts are fairly created.
The maps were drawn blind to race. Once they were drawn, they were checked for compliance. We were assured that all the existing minority opportunity districts, whether they be Black or Latino, were going to perform as such.
And Ed joins me now from Dallas. So, Ed, I understand nearly a dozen Latino civil rights organizations have filed a lawsuit already against Texas over the new redistricting maps. But where does this go from here? I mean, what are they really hoping happens?
Well, in the short term, what they're hoping is that a judge will essentially block Texas from using these new maps that run from the congressional state house and state senate as well, and prevent these new maps from being used in the upcoming 2022 midterm elections. And they're also
So you heard them say, see, I don't like CNN for the reason that they always have the fluff going on, all that extra shit. They should have fast forwarded to where that lady's talking at the end, talking about how she's justifying the bullshit, right? So she goes in there and she says, well, we were informed that even though we redistricted the way that we did, that's our business. The only business y'all have are these opportunity zones, and they're going to function the same way we said they were going to function, which basically means that we're going to give business owners tax breaks and tax credits in these hood neighborhoods.
Right.
That's all that means. Fucking opportunity district. So you have an opportunity to get a job, but it's guaranteed based on this business plan and these loans, I'm gonna make a profit over here. Long story short, yeah, the redistricting is a problem. The question I have for the panel though is this: do we believe that it's and this is kind of a leading question, I think. Do we think that redistricting is the issue, or do we think that economic empowerment is the issue?
That's a good
100%.
question. Want to introduce the lady, 2 other members of the panel, Casey Gain and V Smiles. Kennedy says, "What up, V?" All right, so Casey, go ahead, take a crack at it.
I think if you look at the real issue, economic empowerment has to be the issue. I think with our 2-power system, it's a two-headed demon that you choose to between Republicans or Democrats, and obviously we're giving the Republicans as the bad cop and the Democrats are the good cop, but they're both cops. They're both here to hurt us. So if you look at the communities like Asians, who you don't really see represented in terms of political representation, they're not really, you don't see too many Asian politicians. The Asian voting bloc isn't really catered to. You know what I'm saying? But they have economic empowerment, right? So they have their own money. And the thing is, the way you get a politician to work for you is not, I'm not sure if you said this, Schoolboy, or someone else, is not to vote for them, it's to donate to their campaign. So once you have economic issues and the black people
Casey, you just came from a march or something? You got pepper sprayed in the eyes?
Got allergies or something, bro. My allergies acting up. Let me finish. Even with my allergies.
I thought you just came from a BLM march.
Nah, the only time I got pepper spray was when the Boston Red Sox won, beat the Yankees. They pepper sprayed me there when I went to go celebrate.
Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do. How dare y'all beat the Yankees?
What I was saying is that the whole political system is really bullshit, and this is how they want to keep people in boxes with their districting, because they want black people to only think they can vote for Democrats. So that's your only option. You have no other options, so you're in their pocket. They may want Trump supporters think they can only vote for Republicans. So they keep people divided and conquered. And Democrats and Republicans is playing for the same team. They just like keeping people mad at each other and not them. So that's what the redistricting is about. So making you feel if you're black, you have no choice but to vote Democrat. If you don't, you're a sellout. And make sure you have no other options other than right wing A or right wing B, which is the Democrat and Republican Party. And CNN's bullshit.
Yeah, but you don't think that they're trying to get black people to have no vote in certain shit?
Nah. I think they've already done that. Democrats have already, by assuming you're automatically voting Democrat, you're taking away their vote right there, right? By assuming black people only have the option of voting Democrat, that means you don't have an option, right? If you can't vote Republican because you're a sellout if you do, so you can only vote Democrat, that's not really choice. Like, democracy is supposed to be freedom of choice. And our current political system does not provide any alternatives for black people to vote for people who really represent their interests, because the black politicians are funded by white corporations. So their interests are not the black people who vote for them, but the white corporations that fund them. So the Democratic...
I was gonna say that's a good twist on it, you know what I'm saying? But it with them taking away the physical opportunity is really a bigger issue, right? If they do that, right? Because now you can't put nobody in power yourself, right? But I don't want to.
Can't really now either. You can only put in a Democrat who's already going to be a right wing, anti-poor people, pro mass incarceration, pro big pharma, pro big tech. You know what I'm saying? Person. That's the options they have. So I think the bigger problem we have is lack of political options rather than the kind of gerrymandering and the district doing they do. That's part of their WWE game, because they're on the same team, the Republicans and Democrats. They're not really fighting each other like you think. They're fighting us. You know what I'm saying? They're fighting us, the people. And they do that through their gerrymandering. But it's not they're trying to take the black people's vote away. The Republicans are trying to cheat, like the Democrats are trying to cheat. They're both trying to cheat.
I don't want to change this. I don't want to change the subject. I want be able to get a chance to answer the question as he posed it. The question was, Schoolboy, what? It was, are we looking for political or economical power? Was it? You want to rephrase?
Right. Is political power? They're doing this gerrymandering to lessen the impact of black people's political power, but is that more important than our economic power?
So the question is the political power more powerful than the economic power? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like my answer is fucked up, because I feel like I'm choosing neither. I feel like the political presence is not really important, at least to black people at that point. And also I wanted to point out that 12% that they pointed out was inaccurate, because niggas don't answer census questions anyways. When they come to niggas' doors and knock on niggas' doors, niggas close their doors. So the only other way that they can get niggas is through taxes. But outside of that, I just really wanted to say that people who live in these districts and they have to deal with rezoning, because it happens all the time, especially in a lot of country places. Like, even I have family in South Carolina. My grandpa's still yelling about them rezoning and taking a couple of acres off his house. So that's a very, I feel like a lot of cities down south are doing that a lot, because there's a lot of things that are changing as far as the physical structures and stuff. But I do feel like the people create their own political powers in wherever places that they are. And you don't have to have a lot of economic power in order to do that. There's a lot of groups of people who come over to this country who have little to nothing. And just by them utilizing whatever resources they have next to them, they're able to then be looked at as a political power group. I recently seen a photograph of, like, I think they called it the 1917 still walk. It was some type of walk that Black people were protesting, and they were walking and they were holding up a sign. And they were just quiet, no sounds or nothing like that. And the sign literally said, we have 250,000 acres of land, and they were just saying like how much they own. So what they were leading with was what they already had. They were leading with like what they own. So I feel like a lot of people just in general, they look at white people, especially they gonna get the 39%. And the Latinos is gonna be right there with them, because these people are proven to, utilize their resources and pull it together. So I don't know. I think it's really beyond a political portion or beyond an economic portion. I really think it's a mental mindset, and because Black people don't really stick together, that hence the 12%. But it is what it is. But I really think it's neither, because I think that it really depends on the mindset, and they have no control over whatever they zone anyways. Nobody does. So government is going to do what they want to do. Lawmakers are going to do what they're going to do. What you have to do is figure out how to maneuver through those things. I'm sure a lot of Black people have put in their kids in good schools in different neighborhoods that they didn't live in. Like, you find ways around the system.
That shit is dangerous though. One of those there was a sister who got some jail time over that shit.
This is true. And I think that that's very, very unfair. Like, if you're lying to an extent, you got it's about who does and who doesn't get caught. Because even for me, I never lived in Bensonhurst, but I did go to school in Bensonhurst. Nice white school with white kids. Yes, I did. And no one got arrested. So, and I guess probably things are much different now, but you got to find ways around the system, which I feel like a lot of other groups have found ways to do. And obviously, yes, it is going to be harder for Black people. Black people just got to stop thinking it's going to be easy for them type shit. Like,
also just I'm not like a statistical genius or anything like that. But when they say 39% is that fucking close, they're lying.
That's what I was thinking.
Somebody has that majority, and they haven't admitted it to themselves yet, and that's fine. But we knew 30 years ago that this was going to happen, and that's just basically Texas is like basically Upper Mexico anyway.
Yeah, that's what that was surprising for the Latino numbers to be meeting with the white numbers, especially in Texas.
And then also you have to imagine all the people who are trying to pass. They're not white. They're not Mexican. They're white.
Right. Then there's that transition that goes.
Right. So white people know that they're not the majority in Texas. Come on now. Nobody goes to Texas and thinks white people.
But what do you think this rezoning does for people? Like this
is what they're doing.
That's what I'm worried about.
Usually what they do is this. They find a Black neighborhood and they split the Black neighborhood up between 3 different congressional districts. They pointed out the fact that one of those districts extended like 200 miles east, had nothing to do with that city.
Wow. Oh, so they're putting parts of. Oh, so that's like that prison shit that they do in New York. They plop a prison somewhere, and that now becomes the population. Even though these people can't vote, they can't do anything. They can't,
exactly. Right. That's a Black neighborhood, though. That's definitely a Black neighborhood.
Black vote.
So Schoolboy, before I answer, does that Black neighborhood or that part of the Black neighborhood that falls in somebody else's district, can they somehow siphon some of the resources by being part of that district or what?
They could, but they can't because they're the minorities in that district. Everybody else's special interest is going to come before them. Okay. If it's only 11% of them in there, okay, you have an opinion. You want certain things? That's great. Sit your ass over there and vote next year, and we'll talk about it next year.
Oh, we see what we got left.
Yeah.
Right. So, but ask me the question one more time, because that seems like a big problem right there, but
it is. The question is, what's more important is ultimately what I'm trying to ask. Political power or economic power?
I feel like they're intertwined in a lot of ways. They're interconnected. And me personally, I would go after, economic power before I try to go after political power. Or I would do it simultaneously, but I would put majority of my energy into the economic part, at least to get to a place where you can actually, fund what you want to do. Because even if you're organizing on a grassroots level, it's a lot of miscellaneous bills come with that too, right?
Right.
I would definitely, if I had to make a choice, I would choose economic power.
And I ultimately tend to agree because That's the way you play politics in America. You buy politicians.
Mm-hmm.
That's the rules. And in certain places, when you get a little bit more in the rural places, you need to be a landowner and be doing something with that land, you know. So that's the reason why, like, Walmarts get so much money and attention when they move into a place. They're big landowners,
right?
You know, and I think that we missed that. And I don't think we missed that. I think that the people who they call black leaders misexpressing that to people while they're making commercials of women stripping and telling them to go to the club and vote, or go to the polls and vote.
Also, when they take, because there are black people who do put their money behind politicians, and the fucked up thing is sometimes those politicians take that money and then they throw dirt on the same people who put money behind them. Like, Obama did that shit smooth. He went in the White House. He was like, Latino, LGBTQ. So,
yeah. You know, but that's the reason why, like I'm going through a lot of these interviews by these mafiosos and stuff like that. They're talking about how they were intertwined in politics. They had those guys by the nuts. It wasn't because they just thought the mafiosos were cool. they were doing action because they setting people up. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, we're gonna have to do some of that too with our folks. You know what I mean? But then again, you got people like unfortunately, the guy who I took a graduation picture with.
Warning. The opinions expressed in this program are those of the presenter in their current state of mind, which they have the right to change at any given moment. The Rant Network and the members of the Ranters Union are not responsible for any claims made. All opinions and train of thoughts are welcomed here and protected by the First Amendment and the Ranters Union.
So, yeah, long story short, this guy, Al Sharpton, he's supposed to be a leader of the black community, but he's also an FBI informant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if we can count him as one of our guys, because at the end of the day, he's already been bought by another combatant on the battlefield. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying the FBI is a combatant, but if you're in cahoots with the FBI and the mob, and you trying to, I have issues with some of that stuff that you do there.
If according to my research, FBI killed MLK. Everybody knows what the FBI did to the black community and black activist group with COINTELPRO. And so anybody working for the FBI is not doing for good. It's not like the X-Files and Sharpton out here trying to find out the chupacabras who've been fucking with the black community. No.
Warning. The opinions expressed in this program are those of the presenter in their current state of mind, which they have the right to change at any given moment. The Rant Network and the members of the Ranters Union are not responsible for any claims made. All opinions and train of thoughts are welcomed here and protected by the First Amendment and the Ranters Union. All commentary, criticism, news reporting, research, teaching, and or scholarship of copyrighted material is protected by the Fair Use Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Rant Network and the founder of the Ranters Union, Jalogic, aka Mr. M, recommends that you take what is said and do your own research. Read a goddamn book and form your own opinion. Furthermore, listen carefully to the ranters rant and debate their opinions and form your own conclusion. Thank you for watching this member-supported program, powered by the Ranters Union and produced for the Rant Network. Good day.
All right, let me read these comments. Just
Wait. No. Yo. Please, let's wind the tape back for a second and talk about how Casey said it's not.
What I say about your boy?
It's not like it's the X-Files. Al Sharpton is helping to find the chupacabras that are fucking with black people.
I'm still trying to figure out what MLK had to do with this. Like, I'm still
here's exactly what MLK had to do with this. The FBI, the same organization that Al Sharpton works for was complicit in the assassination of Martin Luther King. J. Edgar Hoover, this is facts. This is facts. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah,
it's not my opinion. It's facts.
Yeah.
I'll give you the books. I'll give you the books to
Martin Luther King's family. Matter of fact, his wife was in court and got the government to admit that they had something to do with it. They had to settle.
This is common knowledge, and Al works for these same people that killed Martin Luther King, and also, J. Edgar Hoover was the founder. Was a crazy, weird, cross-dressing racist who was.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, he was literally stalking Martin Luther King, putting bugs in Martin Luther King's bed, checking all the girls Martin Luther King would talk to.
You know what it is?
He sent a letter to Martin Luther King saying, "You better kill yourself because you're out here cheating on people."
What? I'm tired of black people being butthurt about things that white people do to them. So what? Yeah, and then Martin Luther King also got a brick thrown at him when he was in Chicago.
He also got a bullet put through his head by the goddamn FBI, CIA government. That's what we're talking about. And these same people, Jesse Jackson again. You know what I mean? Every time you have a
I can't stand by that shit. And
if Martin Luther King was Jesus, Jesse Jackson was the Judas, and Al Sharpton is the disciple of Judas.
I want to get to
these people are not black leaders. These are leaders from the white government put on to become fake leaders for black people.
So my issue is let me one last thing. My bad. I know Logic, you're trying to move on to the comments. But with these mafia, one of the things that they said about J. Edgar Hoover is that they set him up. They set up a little gay party and took pictures of him with all the different pictures. And then they said, okay, whatever we want you to do, stop worrying about what we doing. We're gonna be worried about what you doing. And he had to check in weekly with the mob while he was doing his damn job.
That was Meyer Lansky. That's why J. Edgar Hoover would say he had Clyde Tolson, who was his gay best friend, number 2. Cross-dresser, all the mob used to invite him to their casinos and shit. And then when he would take his bestie back to the room, they'd have it all bugged with cameras and everything. So they had all sorts of pictures of him slobbing knobs, him dressing up like women. And then when they were like, "Oh, you want to come prosecute the mob? What about we release these pictures to everybody? Oh, you want to investigate us for killing JFK? What about these pictures right here?" So that's why the mafia and the CIA work together in killing JFK, a little bit in MLK, and all the leaders have also been part of COINTELPRO. Wasn't about infiltrating, but creating fake black leaders. They had a big
Casey. You did say that this wasn't the X-Files, right?
Nah, J. Edgar Hoover had a program called the Black Messiah Program, and she wanted to kill all the people like Stokely Carmichael, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and replace them with their own Black Messiah. Replace them with a fake black leader, and I think that's
in this era. We're looking
from Sharpton to Obama to Jesse Jackson. We've had these fake black messiahs come represent for us and divert the black community's true intentions to the intentions of the Democratic Party. That's why this whole story, going back to it, is really bullshit. They really want black people to get mad and join the Democrats, like the Democrats are our big buddies and we just stand up for them against the Republicans. When the Democrats and the people who run the Republicans, they're our enemies, not the other working class people who brainwashed.
Both of them are enemies to black people, and black people really need to realize that none of these government parties are here to assist.
Definitely not the Democrats, and definitely not the Republicans. So yeah, neither of them. So this is all they're trying to say.
Casey, we got it, bro.
Salute Mills Lane got the microphone. That's what's up. Kennedy said, they all was gay.
Definitely Hoover. Suck it up like a Hoover.
I wasn't there. Just One Love says rezoning doesn't do anything but keep our people separated with lack of income, education, expected to depend upon the government. And I'm gonna have to agree with that. She also says, and also gives the government knowledge of where and what the people in those zones are doing. I'm gonna have to agree with that as well.
Yo, one other thing I'm realizing too is that it allows them to separate the responsible party, because now you can't say, well, my county government is doing this to me, but across the street it's a whole nother, or my senator or whatever is doing this to me, but right across the street is a whole nother district. Oh, how do you find a responsible party unless we bring their asses up on RICO charges?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there you have it. You know what I mean? That's a nice little Civil War update for the evening. We definitely got into a dope, lively discussion. We have a gang of stories. I don't know if we will be able to get to them all. But before we get to the stories that we lined up, we had a couple requests from the audience. Particularly, there's two stories that somebody wants V's reaction and somebody wants my reaction on the story. So I'm gonna start with this one for V. All right, V. If that's cool with you. Somebody wants your reaction on this story. All right, cool. So, and this comes to us. Schoolboy sent us up the request. However, if you join the rantersunion.com, you can always add stories there with in our op-ed section. Basically, that's our opinion section. It's called Op Rants. You can, as a member of the website, create stories that you might want us to respond to, or you can just hit us up on Instagram. All right. So this story right here, I'm just gonna read some of it for you, V, and let me put it on the screen as well. This is about a white nationalist, Nick Fuentes, and him never having a girlfriend. So apparently he appeared on a podcast, which we usually don't talk about podcasts. We'll break the rules a little bit today because we're just talking about white supremacists who appeared on the podcast and shared his deeply sexist views about women. His opinions were apparently formed without dating one. They have a few clips of it, so I'll just play it.
My understanding of many of your viewpoints. You also promote like the way of interacting with women, and I go, have you been in a relationship with a woman?
No.
So how are you telling other people how to behave towards women when you yourself have not had any actual physical, interaction with them in a romantic capacity, or in fact in any capacity?
All right, so that's the first clip. There's another clip where they
I mean, I dare say, from my understanding of many of your viewpoints, you also promote like the way of interacting with women, and I go, have you been in a relationship with a woman?
No.
So how are you telling other people how to behave towards women when you yourself have not had any actual physical, interaction with them in a romantic capacity, or in fact in any capacity where you uphold them in a way that treats them with respect? I mean, if you're out here arguing that women are basically...
Bitch, is this a question or not?
I'm not going to put words in your mouth, in fact, because that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you are looking to some other regimes around the world that do think that women are half the value of a man, I have to question what kind of a person who's had no experience with women is in a position to basically promote these ideas.
Well, I'm having an experience with a woman right now, and I've had lots of experiences with women in my life, not romantically per se, but I've talked to enough women. I've been in, I've known enough women to know sort of what's going on.
All right, so I guess we can all take a crack at it, but what's your thoughts, V?
No, first I thought that was a long-winded ass question. Bitch, we do get it. We get what you're asking. You don't need to take that long to ask that question. But anywho,
real quick. Do you want to hear a couple quotes from him? That I just.
Oh yeah, sure.
So this is not a quote, but this is what they say he said. Apparently, he says the Taliban beat the United States because they weren't distracted by women. So that's one of the things.
Okay, keep going. Keep going.
All right, let me see if I can find another one. They say the Taliban is notoriously restrictive of women's rights.
What he said? Taliban something? I'm sorry. What was the second thing you said?
Well, they talk about, they setting it up about, they're setting it up and saying how the Taliban is notoriously restrictive of women's rights.
Right.
Women under the Taliban rule in Afghanistan can't work or attend school. Under its previous rule, women were forced into marriages and beaten for appearing in public without a male relative or for wearing something other than a burqa. Fuentes also described a nagging wife as his worst nightmare, they're saying. And so I if I catch any more, I don't want to delay your feedback anymore, but if I catch any more, I'll tell you after. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I thought that those statements are hilarious. I don't completely agree with all of that, but do I believe that people can be distracted by genital parts? Absolutely. Yes, they can be distracted. So, but besides the quotes, though, even with just a clip that we just watched, I don't think that he's wrong. I think even virgins know that you can catch STDs from unprotected sex. Sometimes you don't have to experience everything to have knowledge of something, but can I say that he is well versed or someone I would go to for relationship advice? No, but the internet is the internet. I feel like people need to understand the values of what good people can say and do, and the shit that they could leave on the the floor and leave behind them. I think that this girl, the question that she asked was judgmental. And I hate when females do this, because females, if you want to ask a question to get an authentic answer, you have to allow that person to answer in an authentic way. But if you're trying to pose the question just to cater to what you are already believing the answer should be, I feel like that's unfair. I feel like because she's saying that he's not admitting to being in a romantic way with a woman or in a relationship in what she believes, I think that she's projecting that anything that he says is not worth being in a relationship. He's saying he never had a girlfriend. Yeah, but who's to say he's never had raw sex? And I'd say one thing. Any of the bitches that he ever fucked, ask them, was he their boyfriend? They may have a different answer. So everything sometimes is really based on perception.
Giving that nigga a lot of credit though, but you're right. We don't know.
I'm not saying, I'm not saying that I'm fucking this nigga. Absolutely not. That nigga can't come nowhere near me.
You trying to say this nigga fucking girls and curving them?
Of course, this nigga, he out here smashing bitches. Come on, this nigga got a name. Bitches are smashing niggas with names just for the sake of. This nigga's probably sliding the bitch DM. He probably got all little white bitches going crazy over this nigga. This nigga's getting pussy. I'm sure he is.
No, he's a virgin. Bitches, no. He's a virgin. He admitted it. He admitted to being a virgin.
He's eating pussy.
Wait. Do you believe that he really is a virgin?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
There's a whole community. There's a community, especially these right-wing people, are called incels, and they don't have sex, and they believe that women they deserve sex, but women are brainwashed or feminist, so they're not getting sex. So they have this kind of like misogynist political attitude. It's a whole movement of mostly white men, but everybody's down with it. You know what I'm saying? Of misogynist, angry at women, typically right-wing young men called incels. They don't have sex, and they're mad because I don't know. I'm not gonna say like white privilege, like all white people expect or entitled to things, but there's a certain community and class of people who feel like they're entitled to women, and a lot of it's racist too because they see black guys getting girls and they're not getting girls. And
there's always that group of people. There's always that group of people exists. I don't believe in white people saying they're not having sex simply because there's a lot of white people I've known. Even they had this thing called the Provo Soak. If you go like in certain places out west, there's certain communities and girls and guys saying that they don't have sex, that they're virgins, right? But they're doing the Provo Soak, which is something where the nigga is literally sticking his dick in between the bitch's thighs, but he's not moving. He's not penetrating, but he's in there. He's just sitting. But technically, they're still a virgin.
And they'll do like oral sex and shit like that too, and consider themselves virgins, right?
Exactly. So when it comes to the white people virginity terms, it gets weird for me. But if he says that he is a virgin and he has no experiences with women, I could understand that, and I could believe that if that's his life, then hey, who am I to say that that's not his life? But what he's saying in this interview specifically, I really feel like he says that he knows women. And in today's day and age, you can just turn on Instagram and you can know women. You can pretty much get every single kind of woman that there's out there. And what this one female wants to try to project is that all women have something different to them, or they're so bitch. No, you're not that deep. Calm down.
Yo,
I think it's a way different thing to research women and watch women on TV than actually live with the woman and be in a relationship with women in terms of understanding women, at least from my personal experiences.
Yes.
So I feel basically why she's coming at him is because of the same thing I'm telling you. They have a level of this incel misogynoir of anti-women from these young, mostly white men who might be a little bit ugly, not cool, not smooth, but they're arrogant enough to think they deserve pussy. And then
isn't it fair in his own assessment to say that though? Isn't it fair for him as an individual to say, hey, I have not been in a relationship, but I know what women are in today's day and age? If someone's paying attention, they should know that. Even when it comes to younger people. I mean, I'm sure most niggas before they got their dick wet knew what women were like in some capacity. You can't deny that.
No, I can't, but I would say I think the woman is connecting the fact that he's never been into a relationship to his kind of misogynist attitude towards women. And I think she's kind of it's a jab at him. It's a personal jab. It's a personal jab, but honestly, I do feel there is a connection between a lot of these young men and their lack of having a sex life, their misogyny towards women. They feel women don't give them sex, and a lot of them, they don't really want to learn how to be smooth or accept women as their equals. So they just get mad, and a lot of it is racist. They had that through Elliot Rodgers, who shot up the whole California stuff, And he was really mad that all the black girls were getting girls and he wasn't getting them. And this results in him thinking, because girls don't like me, they're whack, they're lesser, you know what I mean? They don't understand what I'm having. So I see she was kind of low blow. Like, you don't need to be bringing up no one's sex life in a political discussion. But in terms of this greater phenomenon of these incels and their misogyny and the connection of their own personal sex life to their views towards women, I think is enough to open up a conversation.
So yeah, the with that, I think also you're touching on something a good point, Casey, in that, and I think I'm gonna probably touch on a comment that you have made as well, V. That he's saying though he hasn't had a girlfriend. He's not saying he hasn't had sex, but he's also not saying that he's. And you see how she set that question up. He's never had a relationship with a woman where he held her up in high esteem. So he probably had experiences with prostitutes and strippers. That doesn't mean he's an expert on women. You know what I'm saying? Like now, let's say like, but I love bitches. Like, nah, I don't think that's it, bro.
But she's trying to make it seem like he don't know nothing, and that's my problem. Because even just people in general in society, they always That's what I'm saying. There's always levels. There's always levels. Because what we think we doing, there's someone older than us that's saying to us, like, you ain't doing shit. Like, you know, she thinks she knows what a real relationship is, asking him what has he had a girlfriend. There's some bitches will look at her and me and be like, y'all bitches don't know shit. So I don't know.
I feel like, and good job, V. I feel like the person who suggested this is probably going to be shocked at the response. they probably thought you was going to drag him.
No, I don't want to drag him because I feel like everyone is. Because see, for me, I feel like I was in a relationship at a certain point in time, but then I look at my life now and I say maybe I never really was in a relationship. So sometimes when you go through different stages in your life, you start to look back and you rethink the things that you thought were a sure thing. So maybe he was at one point in time, maybe he was like 16 and he was like, I got a girlfriend, and now he grown and he has a certain type of knowledge. He's probably saying to himself, nah, that wasn't really a relationship. I've never been in one. Like, I don't know.
But anyway, Sunflower Sky says, she said that's what Mormons do.
Yes,
they call it soaking.
The pro-girl soak.
I be soaking. That's what I be doing.
I can't.
So they said. She also said, Mormons believe if the man does not move while in a woman, they're still a virgin.
Yo, facts. This white bitch I went to school with told me that shit. I was like, bitch, get the fuck out of here. I said, you been fucking niggas. She's like, no.
That sounds like a woman told that to her boyfriend, was like, you know what? I'm not really that wet and I don't want him to tear my ass up. So just stay still and we didn't really have sex, okay? All right.
I had a lot of conversations with a lot of white bitches who swore they weren't fucking, but were fucking.
What about do you remember that one porn star? What's her name? Aurora or something? And she only did anal for so long. And like
these are actually regular bitches. These are square bitches in school.
No, I know. I'm just saying. But her actual justification, because I went to school with a guy who went to school with her, and he was like, her justification was that she was saving her vagina for her husband.
Okay, you see, black women are in reverse. We save our assholes for our husbands.
Porno, though, go ahead.
But black women do that in reverse. There's a lot of black women, they'll save their assholes for their husbands. Like, they won't do anal, like, you know, and then they'll, you know, when they get married on their, you know, their
you gotta
honeymoon night.
Yeah, give me something nobody else got before. That's what you
right, exactly. So you save something, you know, you save something.
All right. So Redemption says
this is something I don't need no anal, you know.
Redemption says that's a stretch, V. I'm not sure at what part that he's talking about, but it sounds crazy after what I just
right.
But she said it previous to that. I'll just say that.
Okay.
Definitely he's not referring to
saving an asshole.
Yeah, any anal activities. And Sunflower Sky also says Mormons also believe if you only do anal, you're still a virgin. See, there you go. All right, so there's another story that was sent to us that I believe they kind of wanted my reaction to, which we all can react to it, but Redemption's laughing. We can all react to it, but The story is about a young lady who rented an Airbnb, a black TikToker. They calling her a TikTok, I guess, because she was on TikTok. And the story comes to us from the Daily Dot. Cotton Fields is not normal. They call her saying black TikToker says she showed up to an Airbnb with a cotton field, and they go on to say Belle's video has now 13 million views, and she has posted a tour of the Airbnb, which is located in Huntsville, Alabama. She said her and her family stayed in the house to celebrate, get this, Thanksgiving. So let's just hear what she has to say.
Y'all, why did my cousin book this airband in Alabama with a cotton field in the yard?
The nigga was too stunned to speak.
Y'all, why did my cousin book this airband?
All right, so obviously it was an opportunity to go viral for her. Is my first reaction. You know what I mean? Second, as a person, I'm hearing an echo. All right, as a person who frequents Airbnb, I've used Airbnb on plenty of occasions. You can do your research before renting a location. You know what I mean? Me personally, I tend to do a lot of research. So before you can even see the address of the place, before you book it, they won't show you the address, right? But you can see the location, like the area. So you can kind of zoom in and get like a roundabout. So you can even see what the neighborhood is hitting for. And you can kind of use Google Earth and Google Maps and all of that shit. So to me, she just looked like she's clout chasing, if you ask me. The article goes on to mention that I don't know where they're getting these quotes from, because I don't see any other videos of her, but they go on to say that she had the experience or an urge. She mentions that she experienced an urge to pick cotton, not that she wanted to, they quote her saying, go back to slavery. Of course, it's an odd feeling that you feel so close to history, Belle says. And Belle received many comments about how the cotton fields in Alabama are everywhere. Some even called her city folk. So I'm not surprised. I just think she's trying to go viral. Me personally, I know there's obviously still cotton fields out there. As far as her having an urge to pick the cotton, I don't know where that came from. Some people say we could transfer memories in our DNA. So I don't know. Maybe it could have came from that. Or maybe she might have had a genuine urge to experience what our ancestors felt. I don't know. But I know that the family definitely had a chance to book something different. Anybody else have anything else they want to drop on it? Or
Yo, she corny, man. Like I was waiting for more in this video. Like I would have respected her if she would have went and actually picked the cotton for TikTok. Like I'd have been all in the cotton fields taking pictures. Like call me a coon. You know what I'm saying? Like we way past that. She mad? Why are you mad, bitch? You know our history. Like I'm mad they booked us next to a cotton field. Bitch, what? How you got that sweater on? Somebody had to go get it.
All right. And Ahmad says they probably booked it on purpose to do their TikTok there. So to me, that sounds a little bit more realistic. I think they were really trying to go viral on purpose. So we're gonna bring on the panel now. My man Steph got jokes. Steph, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, people? What's going on?
What's
happening? Schoolboy, my nigga Casey. God damn it.
All right. So I know you just got on the panel, but I know you seen what we just said. I mean, what we just showed.
Right.
Did you have any feedback or reaction that make you feel away?
Well, one, I disagree with you guys. One, because I don't think she did it for clout, because like she said, her cousin booked it. So that's one thing. But also, more importantly, like I said this, like riding by cotton fields is always connected to slavery. Keep in mind, niggas don't actually work the lands anymore. Those are white men in big ass trucks that are designed to pick up the cotton. It's not actually like how it was, but it just always comes into your mind. Every time I pass a cotton field out here, I always think, I'm in Georgia. It's like that. It's the same way. They're everywhere in Georgia, right? So to see it is not crazy, but to have an Airbnb with one in the backyard is a little different. And I remember, and I don't have the urge to pick it because I picked cotton. My white elementary school teacher brought a cotton plant to the school and passed it around for everyone to pick some cotton.
Yeah, somebody gonna pick some cotton today.
Life experience.
Yeah, somebody gonna pick
Yo,
some
are
cotton
you
today.
serious?
I'm dead serious.
And did you tell your mom?
Well, no, because I didn't know anything was wrong with it. I was fucking 4 or 5. I was in elementary school.
You can't unpick cotton. I mean, once it's picked,
No,
it's
you
picked.
can't.
What you gonna
Once
do about
you done picked it, you done picked it.
Yeah.
So
Now
you sure
people
it wasn't a fake cotton plant?
No, it was a real one.
Oh man.
So
I've never met a nigga who actually picked cotton.
Now you have. So here's the thing.
Nigga here now.
Hey, nah.
This took a crazy turn. I didn't expect us to discuss you picking cotton.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know what? The only reason why I wouldn't be out there picking cotton. So let me go ahead and fuck up your little party today, real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, only reason why I'm not gonna pick no cotton out there is because here's the thing about the way they harvested that cotton back in the day before the cotton gin and shit like that. It was a method of fucking torture, literally. They found the person who picked the cotton the most efficiently, and they beat that motherfucker every day to make him work hard, and made everybody else try to work as hard as he could. But he wouldn't do it, you know what I'm saying? But of course they couldn't do it because they weren't as efficient. They wasn't used to getting their ass beat yet.
Well,
so that's how they, you know.
Yo, School, thank you for that. And could you tell us about this? You sent us something earlier about some guys working under harsh conditions. It says why isn't the media talking about this after a year-long human trafficking investigation on a South Georgian farm? The HSI found over 100 people working in brutal and inhumane conditions.
So
what's going on, School? Is
So
slavery
I said that I had a personal story about this. So let's go back like 10, 12 years ago. I'm a freshman in college, and I'm on the hustle, man. I'm broke. I need money for food, and it's not working out for me. And I'm like, bro, I know I can get some food stamps out this month. Long story short, I go to the office. I'm sitting in the office, and you know, if anybody's ever gotten food stamps before, you don't just go in there, get your food stamps, and leave. Back in those days, your ass had to sit up in there for like 10 hours, like minimum. You're gonna sit in there for at least 5 hours. It's gonna be dirty. It's gonna be smelly. People gonna be coughing. People's kids gonna be running around. It's gonna be kind of loud. Like your phone's gonna die. You're gonna be hungry, but you're not gonna want to lose your place in line. You're gonna be thirsty if you have your kids with you.
It's like the DMV, but worse.
Exactly, and everybody in there hungry because we all here for food stamps. So just imagine, right?
Those fights breaking out.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And somebody been waiting for their food stamp for the last 6 months. So they've been doing this shit every, once a week, every week. Anyway, I'm sitting there, and me and the guy next to me are being civilized towards one another. We've introduced ourselves, and we're like becoming good friends. And I noticed his thumb was missing, and I said, "Well, hey man, what happened to your thumb?" And he said, "Well, actually, so then, you know how when somebody about to tell you some shit and they start to give you the let me tell you something that you don't know about me yet type situation."
Right.
He was like, everybody got their thing. Everybody got their thing. And I could tell he had his thing. He had that look. You know what I'm saying? He had that look. So something was his damn thing. But he goes, my thing is drinking. I like to drink. I said, okay, cool. What the fuck are you talking about? I asked you about your thumb. Did you cut your thumb off because you were drinking or what? Like, I'm trying to get to it because, again, I'm hungry. Like, I ain't trying to hear this shit right now. I'm a little bit irritated. And so he said, yeah, man, I was drinking and I passed out. And when I woke up, I was in a van and they were driving me somewhere. And I said, well, shit. I'm thinking to myself, well, you never said you was homeless, but now I can assume so because you got scooped up in a van and you ended up somewhere in a van with these guys.
Right.
So he says, yeah, man. But I was like, well, shit, I had no job at the time. And it was like, basically, you're going to help us harvest and you're going to make some money. And we're going to set you up. We have a nice place to stay and everything.
A nice place to stay.
A nice place to stay. That's the clutch part. He got there and it was basically a dorm-style living arrangement. And there was a general store on property. I'm not going to call the place a plantation, but it had a lot of qualities of a plantation. Yeah, it had a lot of qualities of a plantation. So he says, yeah. So I'm there and I'm harvesting onions, and I cut my finger off. They took me to the hospital. They gave me pain meds, but I was in pain and I was ready to go home. I was finished with making money harvesting onions after I cut my damn thumb off. And I'm thinking to myself, shit, I would have left a long time ago. But tell me more. You know what I'm saying? So, long story short, well, long story longer. He tries to leave the plantation, and he gets intercepted by some of the local police. And they said, sir, where you going? You're walking on the street. Where you headed? And he said, well, I'm headed to the train station. They said, okay, well, where you coming from? He said, well, I'm coming from that plantation back there, or, the farm back there, And they were like, okay, cool. Well, you want us to give you a ride? And he was like, yeah. And they gave his ass a ride right back to that damn farm. They dropped him off and said, hey, they'll make sure you get to the train station. Now, this man knows it's a lie because he's already been trying to go this route with these folks, and they on that bullshit. He literally had to steal himself away and escape from this plantation. And that's where I met him at. And I remember this conversation that I had with him for this one reason. Because at that time, Obama was actually bringing black people that were in, the Delta in Alabama and Mississippi, and that other bullshit. He was bringing people that were saying in the late 60s, we were enslaved on plantations in the South. In the 60s, in the 50s, they were actually enslaved. Like literally, these people are telling harrowing stories of being raped and abused on these plantations. So long story short, this is real. They're going to probably try to make it about Mexicans, but you better believe it's black folks up in there that got suckered into that shit and they can't get out. So I thought this was interesting.
Well, I'll say this. Housing is a hard thing to pass up. I mean, like even in New York, I've tried to get food stamps. They've never given it to me. They've always never approved me. Even when I lived in Florida.
I'm not going to say you got to learn how to lie, but you got to learn how to lie. Like I went into that office. I had holes in my clothes. My shirts, my tops and my bottoms, holes, holes in my shoes. I look dusty. I look homeless. And I was like, I'm homeless. I'm couch surfing. I don't have no job and I'm not in school. But I knew I had to say that to get food stamps.
But this is the thing, though. In New York, the Jewish white women with their Chanel bags have a separate appointment, and they go into a special room when they get their food stamps. And Boquisha is still in the middle of the lobby with her Louis Vuitton bag and her, her $200 sneakers. But she got 4 kids on her arm. So once you don't have any kids, it's a wrap. As far as trying to get any kind of.
What you got to do is you gotta go ahead and get somebody to say you letting them hold you. I'm saying let them hold your kids. Listen. My cousin came with this baby. I don't even know the baby's name, but I got to watch this baby for the next 3 weeks, and I need help. I don't need help for a long time. I just need temporary help. They'll give you food stamps for at least 6 months on that story, but you got to sell it.
I tried. I brought my little brother. It got crazy.
Yeah.
He didn't even want to stay because, like you said, they're making long shifts.
All of this for entertainment purposes. There is no offer of fraud or anything here, and because I wouldn't do anything like that.
Yo, how long was I out?
Huh?
How long was I out?
Not too long, about like 3 minutes. 3 minutes, something like that.
I was
just enough to pick 2 strands of cotton. You went away just long enough.
Hey,
I don't know what happened, yo. I don't know what happened. I walked away to laugh at that shit and woke up on the floor, schoolboy. That's too much.
Hey, schoolboy.
Yo,
this is actually that cop who took him back to the farm. That's actually the first time I can recall that an officer actually did their job, because that's what the fuck they were designed for. Loss prevention. Take your nigga ass back to that farm.
I mean, basically, like the slave patrols from
Warning. The opinions expressed in this program are those of the presenter in their current state of mind, which they have the right to change at any given moment. The Rant Network and the members of the Ranters Union are not responsible for any claims made.
All right, so I just had to, I don't know what I missed. I don't know, I just had to give us a warning just cause, man. I just heard Steph closing on that, so I don't know but so what happened? He got kidnapped, schoolboy?
Yeah, basically he was kidnapped.
Yes.
Basically, he was kidnapped. The police were not helping him to escape. He had to escape himself in order to get off
After
that
getting his thumb cut off.
After, yeah. And I'm assuming, because you know how when people tell you traumatic stories, they don't really tell you the worst part of it. They leave that to the imagination because they can't talk about it. So I'm just assuming that he was like, you know what? These niggas got my thumb, but they're not going to get my life. Get the hell out of here.
That's some Kunta Kinte, but they didn't get the foot, they got the thumb shit. They're like,
But after a thumb, shouldn't you be done with the government? Like, shouldn't you not be sitting in the office waiting for like more assistance from these?
No. That's not the government didn't cut his thumb off.
These
farmers in South Georgia, led him to cutting his thumb off. Well, he probably was out there drinking and trying to harvest and shit and cut his thumb off. Okay, we know he's a drunk. You know what I'm saying? But the
if
point
it wasn't
is,
for them, he wouldn't be there.
right. But the point is, he should have been able to get home once he was like, you know what? I've cut my thumb off. Obviously, let me stop drinking. Let me go home and get my shit together.
What I think happened is the nigga got mad drunk, and then he stumbled his way to the Home Depot in the morning, didn't know what to do. The Mexicans was drinking because they be drinking before they work. You know what I'm saying? They might have had their little Modelos before the shit. He was probably drinking with them. He was drinking. Yeah, Latinos. They could have been Hondurans. You know what I'm saying? Hondurans or Salvadorians.
Racist turn, but yes, please proceed.
No, I said. I didn't say Latinos. I said Tito.
My big hero, my Malcolm Latinx is out there. He could have been with them, and then. So yeah, but a lot of people do exploit these workers. He could have had his thumb in the wrong. He could have fronted like he knew how to work the weed whacker. Put his thumb in the wrong way, mad drunk. Thumb spit out the weed whacker. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? He ended up there, and it wasn't on purpose. Number one, he was kidnapped.
He was kidnapped,
and then he was brought back. So we joking here, but we're really hearing the story of what this shit is telling us.
But
that there are modern day slavery outside of the more popular one that we know as jail, right? So let me read some of the things that they say in here. They say a years-long human trafficking operation trapped migrant workers in modern-day slavery on South Georgia farms, according to the federal indictment unsealed last week. Victims include over 100 laborers smuggled from Mexico and Central America into brutal and inhumane working conditions under the threat of gun violence. Some were allegedly forced to dig for onions with their bare hands, earning only 20 cents for each bucket harvested. At least 2 people died on the job. Another was allegedly repeatedly raped. And they also go on to say that when not out in the fields, workers were detained in work camps surrounded by electric fencing and held in cramped living quarters, including dirty trailers with raw sewage leaks. There was little to no access to food or safe drinking water. 24 custody members and associates of criminal enterprise that perpetrated the exploitation now faces a slew of felony charges, according to a press release from the U.S. Attorney's Office from the Southern District of Georgia. The multi-agency corporation that yielded the indictment, dubbed Operation Blooming Onion, may be one of the largest ever human trafficking and visa fraud.
The situation our schoolboy brought up the point of African Americans being out there, but we also have a big issue of Africans in Libya and Syria and Northern Africa also being brought into modern day slavery, being sold into slavery as a result of American foreign intervention and assassinations of leaders like Gaddafi. So modern day slavery is very real, and it is definitely happening to a lot of African people still today. Today, more in Africa and Europe than in America, as a side that what Logic actually brought up correctly, the prison industrial complex. And also another way we have modern day slavery in the United States is sex slavery. We have a lot of forced sex workers who are trafficked and forced into, becoming prostitutes against their will.
But I have a question, Casey, because this is the thing. A lot, like you said, some people are maybe forced against their will, but I also feel like not Phil, but this is also true. A lot of people who are traveling from rural countries and third world countries and stuff like that, sometimes they are just trying to find a way to get out. They want to get to America. And oftentimes they are given promises that by the time they get here, those promises usually disappear. And then they end up in situations like this. Is it their own fault because they came over here illegally? That whatever situation they get into, that it is what it is. Because when a hoe gets robbed off the street, what do people usually say? She shouldn't be out there selling pussy. When a nigga get caught up and somebody steal his dope, he shouldn't be selling drugs.
No. Hold on. I am gonna definitely say on that. Yes. Unfortunately, yes. There are consequences. Like we all realize, like this ain't 1935. You didn't know that there was another border over there and other people that you should be your ass over there. You're coming over here. If you're coming over here illegally, and that's the other thing, they were forced under the threat of gun violence too, which is kind of sketchy as hell. But again, you come over here illegally, you're a criminal once you walk across the border. Now your criminal ass is over here working. But here's the thing about that, and people say, "Oh, they're looking for opportunity." I don't want to hear that shit because Black people cannot, and I'm telling you this as a fact, cannot take your black ass over in mass across that border in Texas and just start flooding the fucking job market. Yeah. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. You're not gonna be picking shit for undercutting the workers in Mexico because they're gonna kill your ass like they did Malcolm X's grandson. I'm just letting you know that that's how they give it up. You're not going over there to do that shit. So don't be coming over here and trying to get a pass now because you want an opportunity. Get your opportunity, back your ass in Mexico.
I think my humble opinion. I think Steph has something to say. Steph?
Yeah, two things. Schoolboy, I was really thinking about your story. And you said the brother woke up in the van and they were like, "Hey, we gonna take you get some money," and he was just cool with it. He was alarmingly homeless. That's the next level of homelessness. So where you don't know where the fuck you going and you cool with it. But which is fine. But then the nigga cut his hand and say, "I want to go home." Nigga, you live outside. Home is wherever the fuck. I'm really thinking like, yo, where the fuck was he going? There ain't no home. You ain't got no home, clearly.
He was trying to go to the place where they weren't cutting thumbs off. That's what he was trying to get to.
But he cut his own thumb off. He told you he cut his own thumb off, right?
I'm just saying, yeah, either it don't matter who. Listen. If I'm in my kitchen tonight and I cut my thumb off, I'm breaking my lease tomorrow, my guy. It's over. I have bad memories of this kitchen. I don't think it's gonna work out.
Hey man, that's crazy. The fact that they try to make you go back to work. I agree with that. That's crazy.
Right. But damn, I forgot what we were just talking about.
They made him go back to work.
Oh,
you said what now?
They made him go back to work.
No. What
people crossing the border?
Oh, right. So I felt like that was a false equivalency about because you're a criminal because you crossed the border. That's just that's a false equivalency when V's comparison to prostitution and selling dope. The reason it is because you're just existing. Like, yeah, you crossed the border, but now you're just existing.
No. Let
me finish.
Selling pussy is just existing.
I let everybody get their bars off. Let me finish this small point. I'm almost done. I said, so they're just existing over here, right? So if the police get them, that's one thing. But for a civilian to do something to them, that's a whole different thing. They can get shot by a civilian back at home. Matter of fact, chances are, if you're from Honduras, that's a realistic possibility.
Yeah, let me say something to Schoolboy. And in terms of the immigrant, I don't know if you know, but the country, United States of America, is really horrible to countries like Honduras, where Hillary Clinton sponsored a coup that started the Civil War that caused a mass exodus.
Casey, I don't.
You should care. All right, because the same people who do this to these people do this to you. These Mexicans is not your enemy.
That's not what they did when they came into California. They came into California and started going to war with those black families to take their fucking neighborhoods. So my thing again is this:
that's one small Mexican group. That's one gang.
No. That's widespread in California. Everywhere I've seen Hispanic people get into the numbers, they start moving like that.
That's not at all. Like you're talking about stuff you said. I live in California. I get nothing but.
Hold on, Casey.
I got a lot of love for Hispanic people. That's not the point.
That's not the whole California. That's like the hoods in LA. But like in California.
Yeah, you're making generalizations.
That's fine. You know, the generalization that I can make, though, is that if you cross a border illegally, you have committed a criminal act, which makes you a fucking criminal.
Oh, well, I have hundreds of friends from the Caribbean who extended their visas or illegally came here for a better way of life, right? There's lots of people from Africa who have migrated here. Black people from Africa who do not follow the quote-unquote white Americans' rules to have here. And they stay here and they work for the better life. And they get deported on some bullshit. You want them to get out of here?
Yeah, pun the river. Pun the road.
So your Americanism is stronger than your blackism.
Yeah,
No, it's not about my Americanism
Get your ass
being
up out of
stronger
here
than my
because
blackism. Because again, let me just say this last thing. Because again, it would be different. It would be different if I know for sure I could take my black ass to Jamaica and set up shop in somebody's neighborhood and be acting funny style when their kids come in my store. If I could do that shit and, you know, be talking about all kind of weird and shit. If I could do that shit in Jamaica, but I know that's not going to fly. The rocks is going to come in there throwing rocks and shit. You know, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem.
Yo, black American tourists go down to Jamaica all the time. They get lost.
Yeah, and they have to stay their ass in that resort. Yeah, they do. You're right.
Ain't no black Americans trying to move to Jamaica anyways.
Hey, that's a testament.
Or Mexico, because niggas do not want to move to third world countries.
That is a testament.
It's like this is our country, bro. Like
hold on. No. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I appreciate. I'm saying that I appreciate my standard of living, and I don't want criminals coming over here and fucking up the goddamn economy. I really don't.
But what if they say about black people? That's what they say about black people. That's what they don't.
They can say that shit about black people in Mexico. But Casey, they can say that shit about black people in Mexico fucking up their economy.
No, they can say that.
We're experiencing.
White people can say that. White people can say that about letting black people into the clubs, about your whole gerrymandering, about.
No, they can't because the black people's granddaddies built the foundation.
Why are you saying
building?
Yeah, we gotta talk at the same time, yo.
Why are you saying they're criminals on your Trump stuff? Like, yo,
bro, I'm not saying that they're criminals on Trump stuff. I'm saying they're criminals on constitutional fucking law. They came over the border illegally. That's not the way it works, and it doesn't work in reverse.
So am I a criminal because I smoke weed? Is talking about a law?
The Constitution does not talk about smoking weed, sir.
Huh?
The Constitution doesn't talk about smoking weed.
The Constitution has immigration and all that stuff in there.
It definitely has border controls. It definitely has border controls because it's a founding fucking document. It definitely has border control. Hey, listen. This is the other thing. One thing I can say is that I literally have a degree in international studies and economics. No country in the world where there's a border and your goofy ass can walk across it with no documentation and just do what the fuck you want to do. Ain't nowhere in the world that happens. Even in the desert where there ain't shit out there, they like, all right, bet, come across this goddamn line in the sand and your ass is grass.
You go to these countries, they want to know when are you leaving? As soon as you touch down, you get to Dubai, you get to any of these countries. As you walk in, they want to know what day are you leaving? Because
here's a history lesson. A lot of these European rich countries that have the borders, they committed slavery, they did colonialism, they created these horrible countries, and then they left a pathway back to their countries.
But what is that? How is that relevant right now?
They left people poor and desperate, looking for a better life because their countries were exploited. Countries like Haiti, where a lot of my best friends are Haitian, and America destroyed Haiti, made it unlivable, so their parents had to leave there, right? So this is what America does. And then you're acting like this is we, rather than we being the people of color, the black people, the black immigrants who are coming in. And all right, so like, they break laws. America's breaking laws every day. America breaks laws to create this stuff. Coming in, like, if these people, like, when you call these people criminals, you know what I'm saying? When a lot of them is just do not want to have their children die of starvation.
Yo, I don't give a fuck about their kids and starvation, to be completely honest.
Okay.
Because again, we have our own problems here. They need to, here's my thing, right? Let's say we take all the people in Haiti that have an issue, all the people in Jamaica. Okay, cool. All the people in Jamaica who have an issue, all the people in Honduras who have an issue, and they decide to say, fuck it. Instead of this forced migration to the United States so they can go and throw our kids in cages, why don't we force migrate to a central location in Central America and just procure an independent state right there and start making our own rules? Because why you keep coming up here and making rules on your own, and now you're mad because you get mistreated, and they earmarking our tax dollars for your goofy ass mistake? No, sir. Keep your ass home, and you can deal with that shit there.
It's America's mistake that has this situation.
Hold on. Swoop One Casey. I feel like both of y'all said all y'all points 100 times. I want to make sure V get a chance to speak. She was trying to say something earlier. V?
Oh, no. I'm good. I was just basically saying, Casey, it's not necessarily about the law breaking. It's about really more so what's fair. We cannot do in other countries what people can do here. And I think a lot of people want to stand up for, immigrants who break the law and stuff like that. If I could go to another country illegal, that's fine. If I could go to Mexico illegally, by all means, y'all can come over here by all means, but I can't go there and you can't come here. I can't go to Jamaica and get food stamps. You should not be able to come here and get food stamps. I cannot go to China and get a driver's license and drive around Hong Kong as an Uber driver without a passport. So you should not be able to come to New York City and drive as an Uber driver and listen to it in Korean. I'm just saying, I'm only trying to do what's fair. And I don't know if you're seeing that, Casey. That's all.
In an ideal world, I don't repeat myself. In an ideal world,
well, V, your asshole for that. We said nigga come over here and drive Uber. What you say? What you say?
The niggas who come over here, drive Uber with the Chinese driver license and listen to the Uber app in Korean. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Who don't know their way to JFK Airport. And I have to direct them, but they don't want to listen to me because the GPS is not telling them what I already know because I live here.
In an ideal world, people would not have to immigrate here because their countries would be okay and they would have opportunities. They don't have to worry about their children starving. Unfortunately, we have the American government.
Why did they come here and get so great then? Because a lot of people complain about their countries being so shit poor and their countries not doing well, but they come over here and they do amazing. So why can't you do in your country what you do here? I just don't understand. There's a million Indian workers in New York City, and then when COVID happened, they wanted to run over to India and be like, let's go help them. No. You guys all want to come over here and get degrees.
Let's look at a country like Haiti.
How about y'all go fix it? Like,
no, leave Haiti out.
You want to know why?
I didn't say Haiti, Logic. Out of respect for you, I'm not going to say Haiti. They in it, but I'm not going to say them.
Yo, let me say why. Casey, come on, man. We heard your points 100 times, bro. Let me say why. I'm going to say because people come over here and it's like, one is a melting pot. It's like a fucking playground for every other country. You know what I'm saying? You come here. All the flavors is here. All the networking is here. You know what I'm talking about? So I think that's why motherfuckers come in. And then you got the cherry on top, which is capitalism. I can eat off of somebody else's pain. Healthy. You know what I'm saying? Versus being somewhere where another country's eating off of my country's pain. I could go over there, you know what I mean, with a grant from my country, China, give you money to go start a Chinese food store and serve American food. You know what I mean? You can go from the Middle East. Here, take this bread, go start up a store. You see what I'm saying? Put it right in the hood. They got mad money there. They just live like shit. You're going to argue with them niggas every now and then, but you're going to be caking. You're going to put all your kids through the right schools, etc. So, the opportunity is here. I think Steph has something to say. Steph, you on Teddy Riley?
Just one thing, and not a big thing. I don't want to hold this up. I just want to make sure we're not being colorist here. Like the level of vitriol for immigrants seems to only be for the colored immigrants. People from the Czech Republic don't receive the same kind of criticism. White people from Canada don't seem to get the same kind of pushback. It's really just for colored immigrants. So I just want y'all to watch yourselves, because you seem to be have the same banter that your white counterparts have.
Oh, I don't have no white counterparts. That being said,
you literally do.
But you gotta admit
in corporate America.
I don't. I don't.
But you gotta admit that's true though. Like,
I don't have to admit that because
the white Cubans they become white real easy here. The white
but my argument was
wait. The white immigrants become white period once they hit.
Right. But again, my look at President Trump's wife. My argument is never that we should limit that sentiment to brown, black, Asian immigrants.
Well, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you use anyone else outside of it as an example.
Because we were talking about hold on.
Mexico, Haiti.
We
Mexico,
were
Haiti,
talking
Jamaica.
about
You
an
never
article.
mentioned Canadians.
Bruh, we weren't talking about Canadians picking
Canadians
onions.
ain't coming over here like the same way these other people coming over here.
Wait a
We gotta
second.
be honest.
We weren't talking about Canadians picking onions. That's not what we were talking about.
You want to know the job the Canadians get when they come over here? The white women, Canadians.
What they do?
They walk dogs for rich niggas down Central Park.
Yo, and the Czechoslovakian bitches and the Russian bitches, they are the new nannies.
But here's the thing.
They out here.
But again, here's the thing. If black people had an economic power base, this doesn't become a problem anymore because now we have the money to pay off the immigration officials just like these white people do. These East Europeans are bringing those people over here because they filled out the paperwork properly.
So Tennessee has a question. So what if is an albino? I think he meant what if is an albino?
If the albino was not American born, they can take the albino ass on. Okay?
Yo, I seen an albino dyke, right? That was the first time I ever seen any shit like that. I've never seen it before in the mall. Just stood albino.
I don't know where this show's going, but I want everyone to know I really passed out. Laughing at Schoolboy story.
I believe the correct term is lesbian, sir. And it might have been pale MA, albino MA. No.
Well, I wanted to ask y'all.
Warning. The opinions expressed in this program are those of the presenter in their current state of mind, which they have the right to change at any given moment. The iRant Network and the members of the Ranters Union are not responsible for any claims made. All opinions and train of thoughts are welcomed here and protected by the First Amendment and the Ranters Union.
All right, so I want to get through these comments. I'm not going to forget about you, V. Don't forget your question. I know you had a question real quick. Queen Elizabeth says, Schoolboy talking that talk. Damn it, I agree. Damn right, I agree. She also says the Constitution is clear. Section 5, Article 4 says the federal government shall protect each of the states against invasion. Tennessee says they was an army of motherfuckers trying to get in here. Why the fuck they can't be an army in their own country? Yeah.
Facts.
They gotta be armed, sir. They gotta be armed by the right people.
They have arms.
Okay? By the right people, or they're gonna lose that. You can't be going up against the guys that the country arms, and then y'all niggas got all these dirty ass half working ass 380s and 357s with a couple bullets.
You know,
up, left, down, right instead of straight.
Come on. Haiti defeated Napoleon, so anything's possible.
With guns, niggas like to make these myths. Oh, these niggas, they did it with rocks and swords. No, nigga. Stop. Let me give you a history lesson, right? What niggas don't know is Toussaint was so diplomatic, right? And so for his people that at one point, when Spain thought they was going to get the leg up from them fucking the French up, he said, yeah, give me them weapons. Yeah, whatever. We talk about it after I'm done. And then when them niggas caught on, the now United States also gave them some guns, thinking, yo, we gonna come down there and we gonna work with whatever, yeah, give us them weapons. So it wasn't just swords and rocks and so they drunk some shit. No, nigga, they had weapons too, bro. But let me get.
They do make them seem like super niggas sometimes. So I'm glad you cleared that up, Logic.
One thing I did want to say though about capoeira, isn't capoeira a system that's used there? Not
Brazilian fight, a Brazilian fight dance. Yeah,
I'm messing it up because I was about to say, man, I done seen like somebody get kicked with that Brazilian shit. It can literally rupture your insides getting kicked by one of them.
I'm sure. Tennessee also says, I agree with V and Schoolboy. Queen Elizabeth says, when the federal government fails to fulfill this constitutional duty, Article 1, Section 10 expressly guarantees states the sovereign power to repel an invasion, illegal.
Nah, that's not invasion. Is an army invading your country.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. Steph has his arm up his hand first. I'm listening.
Go back to Tennessee comment. I agree with V and Schoolboy.
Yeah.
Boy, half the hoes you done dealt with in your life is immigrants. They gonna be dragging your exes back across that goddamn border, listening to your foolishness.
And he's gonna be the first to call him. Queen Elizabeth had a comment to Queen Elizabeth's comment. Casey said that's against what armies? You said?
Yeah, an invasion is army, not people. Like, isn't it part of give us your poor, your tired, your weary? Isn't that the mantra? You know what I'm saying?
It's not constitutional, sir. That's on the Statue of Liberty.
Okay.
All right, Eddie Bueno. I don't know. It's a new name. Says I don't like that how that guy on the top left sounds, man. I don't know.
That's one of my homeboys, man.
And Kedisi says, "Oh, yeah, we read this and we read that. Believe. Oh, salute to that nigga, Steph. All right, so I just want to really quick remind people that we did just talk about a story that's not getting any press, and it has to get press via social media. So I think school, thank you for bringing this to us. I appreciate that because this is definitely something we should be paying attention to. And I like how you actually had a personal story to talk about, not where you were kidnapped, but you knew somebody who was kidnapped. So I think we should point out the fact that these things that are happening with these people who are basically being enslaved because they're immigrants, that's a slippery slope, right? Because if you're just a drunk black guy in the same neighborhood, you might end up out there too, and you might can't leave, right? So yeah, it's a slippery slope with somebody that's just that comfortable with having guns out on you, having you live in some crazy situation, and paying you 20 cents, what they said, a bucket. So basically nothing, right? So the mentality of the guys who are running this operation, they're not going to stop at immigrants.
And you know what? They didn't prosecute. If I remember that article correctly, they really wasn't. I didn't see no whole bunch of farming ring go down because that shit was on your property. Right. I seen them try to talk about the people who brought the labor to the property when the work was being done.
Right, the smugglers.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the farmers wasn't right there handling business.
They're selling those buckets for, and they paying niggas 20 cents a bucket. It's crazy. Oh man, this is crazy, and I don't think it would just end that immigrant. I really don't.
Also, this is a troubling. Hold on, down.
Okay,
this is good. So yeah, man, and I also want to point out that it was a year-long human trafficking investigation that led to this discovery, right? So it was all about the human trafficking attribute, like Schoolboy said, via immigration.
I believe that human trafficking is part of the reason you have so many Democrats lobbying for illegal immigration, because they want the human trafficking. I don't believe they're coming from the attitude of, the give us your tired, your poor, and your weary. I think that is one reason we do want a lot of Americans do want illegal immigration, is for human trafficking, is for cheap labor, is for free labor. And I'm against immigration in that sense when it's used in an exploitative manner, which I believe it is. But I do also believe that America has exploited a lot of other countries and hoarded their resources here, and then people want to come and get an opportunity that's been taken away from their country, and I believe they should have a right to do that. And if the Americans rule, I know Schoolboy's acting like we, like him and the white people here are, we shall overcome, holding hands together, blocking the Mexicans from coming. I know that's his big we in the Constitution with his big white forefathers. I know those his homies. I know him and Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson are going to be blocking the border when the Mexicans come. But that's not a big issue for me.
But why do people feel that American black people don't have a right to say who is supposed to come in here and who doesn't? Like every time when people talk about immigration, they always say it's the white people who have black people have a say so too. We were here long before everybody. Shouldn't we have something to say about just people just running over here, and then we are the ones who are not benefiting from these people just coming over here? Like,
I personally, I don't care. That's just me.
Yeah. But
it doesn't matter to me also, only in the fact of being able to do it on your soil as well.
Well, no. And when you talk about,
I think you got V. I think that's a fair point, though. You're twisted.
Can I say one thing? The big thing they try and have to put black people against.
Casey. Let me finish my breath. Schoolboy has something to say. Don't forget your point, bro. We're gonna take turns. We're not gonna continue talking over each other. All right. But I'm just saying, I get your point. I personally don't care. Schoolboy, and then Casey, please.
And so, like, my family have been landowners in this country. Those of you who know this, like, over 120 years, right? So, as a result, like, I actually give a shit who's here and how the economy's going. So some people say, oh, well, America went out to the world and pillaged. So we have to now let other people who we pillage come and pillage us. And that's not the way the world works. You know what I'm saying? Like if my kid whips your kid's ass and steals his bike, right? And then we find out the bike is worth $1 million and we sell it, we're not gonna be giving you that shit back. Because my son went through all this trouble of stealing your goddamn bike. All right? And that's how a lot of Americans feel. Like, yo, my grandparents stole this shit from them Indians, and we not giving this shit back to the point where we would drop a atomic bomb on your shit instead of giving your shit back. So, like, yeah.
All right, so here's the myth you're kind of following that they perpetuated through propaganda. Is the myth that these immigrants is stealing jobs away from us black people, working class white people, us Americans, when it is really the 1%, the evil government people who are shipping these jobs overseas.
Did I say that?
Jobs go away. It's not the immigrants taking away the jobs and threatening the native-born American jobs. It is the government. Yep, it is the government making these NAFTA rules. It is the corporations who work in league with the government to ship these governments away. So they want you, instead of being mad at the government and the media, they want you to be mad at these poor Mexicans and be scared of them. Instead of being scared of the government who's really taking away your jobs and these corporations are really doing it, you're mad at the poor Mexicans, another divide and conquer trick that worked well on some people.
Casey, the 1% has nothing to do with the West Indian ladies who get on the B-46 and complain about how horrible America is. That has nothing to do with them. Yes, the government plays some role, but there's a lot of people on the ground level who play a role too, and to using what they got to get what they want. They use their community. So
it was one thing I was trying to say before I had to stop niggas finna hit my truck. I think we need to keep an eye on this particularly. Is because these farmers clearly have no ethics, and like our little boys and our little girls are missing. Like, it's a possibility that they can be used for labor. That may be other means of what's going on. That was all I had to say.
Yeah, man. So that's definitely put a button in it. But read the rest of these comments. Queen Elizabeth says, "Okay, nigga, how many homeless folk you got in your crib? If someone break in because they want to better their life, you gonna let them stay? Okay, then shut the fuck up." All right, I'm gonna assume that was for Casey. Sunflower Sky says, "As a woman of Native American ancestry, why don't we have a say?" And she also goes on to say, "Exactly, Casey." And then Queen Elizabeth says, "You sound real dumb, Kay. You don't outsource minimum wage McDonald's jobs." No, I think he's talking about like the caller. Anytime you call for customer service, there's always somebody from overseas. And that shit always makes me feel uneasy because I'm giving them sensitive information about myself, credit card, bank information, all types of shit. You know what I mean? So that's a little crazy. And Sunflower Sky says, "A divided people are weak people." I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? So let's get together. You know what I'm saying? Let's get together. You know? And Kennedy said, "I hope my exes and their family get deported." And he goes on to say, "It's all fuck shit. Them countries been talking shit about America, but want to be here, and they give them shit we can't even get. Grants, IDs, healthcare, businesses, etc., and send it back to their country." And we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on with this topic, And V, this is you. Let's talk about Gorilla Group Girl and shit. Hey, yo, it's been a while. Salute the Logic and Friends. Salute to you. Good to see you. It's been a minute. Salute. And Queen Elizabeth has some work experience in Congress, and she says they pass out an H-1B visas for jobs to immigrants who may turn illegal, and these are highway workers, construction, etc. All right, V, let's talk about it. Let's get to some of these we're gonna get to the softer thought topics. I don't think we're gonna get to the gangster thoughts. The killer thoughts is almost like we almost at the 2-hour mark, but we'll see what we can.
Yeah.
But
It's up to you. We don't need to kill the thoughts. But here is I believe she's 40 years old. She has 6 kids. Miss Gorilla Glue Girl is back again with her latest banger. We're gonna I sent you another link, Logic, to her actual Instagram where the actual video is. This is just an image and an article from Black News Enterprise. But yeah, it says, not again. Gorilla Glue Girl Tessica Brown suffers another hair malfunction. And yes, in one of her recent videos, she actually ended up she said that she dyed her hair, and she went through the normal process what women do in dyeing their hair. They dye their hair, then they get in the shower and wash it out. As soon as she got out of the shower, clumps of her hair was falling out. Now, this is the girl who put Gorilla Glue on her hair months ago and went viral for a slick ponytail that she did. And she had to get surgery in order to get the Gorilla Glue out of her hair and kind of get it back to normal. I just really feel like this is her usual now. And I think that this is what she enjoys doing, enjoys mutilating herself. Because at this point, for me, I believe that this is self-mutilation. Because for someone to constantly poke fun at the distresses that some women really truly go through with their hair instead of just doing it for a gimmick, it's truly sad. Because most women know after they go through yes, this dumbass again. Shout out to you, Champagne. Yeah, salute to Champagne. Dumbass again. Absolutely. Because when most Black women, or just women in general, if you go through, thank you. If you go through something with your hair where it's traumatizing, you're not going to want to do it again. Like, you're not going to try to do anything crazy to mess up your hair again. Especially when Black women go through the big chop, or they go through transitioning from being with perms or going to natural hair. They are very sensitive about what they put in their hair and what they do to it so that it doesn't break off. This girl, I feel like she's using herself as a human experiment, because no Black woman, after going through what she had to go through to get surgery to get her hair back from the Gorilla Glue shit, is gonna dye her hair months later. That's fucking crazy.
You want to watch it?
Absolutely crazy. Yes, I think we should watch it because it shows the clout chasing in her face. It truly does.
See.
Hey y'all, so I decided that I was gonna start wearing my real hair. But when I looked at it, I had a gray hair here, a gray hair there. So me thinking that my hair is strong enough to take chemicals, dude, no, it wasn't. I put the dye on, jumped in the shower, rinsing it out. And as I'm rinsing it out through my hair is steady coming out as I'm rinsing my hair out. Look, it's just falling. Look, it falls out in clumps.
And it's not really a lot of hair, because most Black women deal with some hair that comes out if you're washing, you're combing, because our hair does get natted.
It's just falling out. And I don't even know. It's like it's melted on the end. Like, I don't even know. Look at it. Like, I'm over it. Like, look, all of it.
Yeah. That last comment was amazing, because he said if she procreated, it's gonna. What he said? Cassie Kelson says, imagine if she procreated, another generation of her walking around making half-witted choices. And I agree with this, because the hair shit is getting out of hand now. They're selling baby hairs in the store. So
I thought you said she had 6 kids.
Yes.
She already procreated, dog. It's already 6 nitwits out here doing the same shit, brother.
Sadly.
Warning. The opinions expressed in this program are those of the presenter in their current state of mind, which they have the right to change at any given moment. The Rant Network and the members of the Ranters Union are not responsible for any claims made.
That was for you too, Kelso. That's for Listen.
But I just wanted to ask you, gentlemen, are you guys have you guys ever, how can I don't want to say it in a too crazy way, but have you guys ever messed up a female's hair and had to fix it back during a sexual encounter? What happened? And what was your solution? And if that hasn't happened to you, what is your advice for men who like to put their hands in women's hair?
This is Smile 69's question.
Right. Yo. Y'all remember back in the early 2000s, all the girls had, like, not all the girls, but a lot of girls had them little clip-on ponytails.
Oh yeah. You took that off, huh?
Pulled that shit right out. And
Did you put it?
No, excuse me.
Did you put it back at least?
I pulled it off and I threw it. It was just in the room.
Did she have anything to say about that?
I mean, nah, she had nothing to say about it. I was at that time of my life, I was a young man, and I was, I was going hard in the paint. I don't think she gave a fuck about that little fake ass ponytail. I was giving her some real motherfucking D.
The trap was over. She needed the ponytail to get the dick, and now that she got it, she didn't need it anymore.
Oh, she didn't need that ponytail. I saw right through that. So come here, you little bald headed bitch. Now me stop that. Oh, my bad.
Yo, Schoolboy threw that shit like this right here. Yo, he threw that shit like this. Look. To that shit like that.
That's either the ponytail.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is that I had never, like, that was at a point I had never seen like what it actually was, and it was basically just like a little clip. So when I threw it up against the wall, it made a loud sound. What the fuck was that? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't expecting that. So
women need to keep a sense of mystery. But is this girl smashable? Is Gorilla Glue girl smashable? That's also another question I wanted to pose to you guys. Steph, you say yes, even with the clumps of her hair falling out. So
Man,
if the hair,
that bitch could be bald headed. Just pick a style.
Run with it.
Right. And that's the thing. She was never an ugly girl. It's just goofy as hell.
Yeah. I thought she looked pretty too. I really did. I thought that she looked, but I just don't understand. Like most black women are very sensitive about their hair as is. Most black women who take care of their hair are very sensitive about their hair. So for her to do this on this scale is kind of like crazy. Yes, just pick a style.
Yeah, V. So that's the thing, right? So one, I ain't gonna lie. She used Gorilla Glue, but that motherfucker was slick. Like that motherfucker was, she had that motherfucker down. You understand?
Yeah, that shit was nice. I ain't gonna lie.
So I get it, but this one really ain't no. This just like you lost your hair. This ain't really. But my thing is like you just starting to grow your hair back.
Right.
Why put some shit in it?
Most black women wouldn't do that. So that's why for me, I'm thinking like this is a
no.
move.
Most sane human beings wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
People with sense don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
if a nigga gets burned, he's not gonna fuck that same bitch again. He's gonna fuck something else.
But I think Casey wanted to answer your question. Casey?
Yes, please.
I forgot what I was saying. I think my last girl had a natural. I think with the ponytail, I want to ask Schoolboy a question. Did you think it would come off when you pulled it, or was you watching like white on white porn and you thought it would just be able to pull it back, slap it, and it would come back with it? Or
no, you know how sometimes like you're in the middle of it and you're just trying to find some leverage to like really dig in there. And I think I was at one of those moments where I was just grasping for anything, and it just kind of was a. It wasn't like a pull it off immediately, like try to pull it off. It was like a pass by that part of your back, and I grabbed it, and I wanted to grab your shoulder, but what the fuck was that? Yeah, exactly.
Do men make it a mission to mess up women's hair? Because I don't believe that, Schoolboy. I believe that was the mission to get that ponytail up.
It depends on how the session is, right? It depends on how the session. If she's doing a whole lot of like. If she's really like into it and really pushing back and stuff like that, and she's looking for me to push a little bit harder, I'm definitely gonna fuck up her hair because like I'm doing all the work. You know what I'm saying? Once I done bend that ass down, I'm doing all the work.
Hey, so. V, you remember those porns where niggas used to have the Timbs and he be hitting from the back and nigga had the Tim dead on her fucking face.
Hard body. That's bitches taking dick.
That's a New York shit.
A lot of bitches have fucked up their neck taking dick, So I guess that's why the hair thing works.
Listen, man, that position right there really opens up the air in that area. It's like,
really?
Well, speaking of all of this, we don't usually do free promotions, but salute to Clap Cleats. Salute you go to clapcleats.com. You know what I'm saying? If you want that extra grip.
I think somebody really loves me.
We need that extra grip when you're letting that thing rip. I'm talking about.
That's August. I seen that in one of the pictures, ain't it?
I don't know, brother, but
That's great promotion. Clap cleats. I think a couple of niggas need some clap cleats.
Clap cleats, and I haven't tested them out yet. I just see that these came out, but
I wonder if they work as well on carpet as they do on hardwood floors.
And I'm wondering, does it work in the shower, right? Because the shower is usually not it's not a great time.
That's where you would need it most.
But the wet floors, it would have to be. You'd have to get a whole new type of sock with some suction cups on them or something.
That's what these are. Clap cleats, brother.
Those ain't suction cups though. I don't know, would they work in the water when they get wet?
It's new technology. It's formed. The circles form. Let me stop. I don't know what that shit do. I don't know. I don't work for them yet.
You know, they got like water footies to help you keep your grip in like water parks and shit. Like they got actual shit for that. These for the shower.
I never thought about using the water footies. I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
It makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Kelso says those socks are cool, but the rubber bottoms hurt in shoes. Well, you're not supposed to be wearing shoes when you're wearing these. You know what I mean? These are just to replace your bare feet. That's why they're ankle socks. You know what I mean? Something to slide on real quick. Slide on and slide in.
So that means you're gonna have to spend the night. You can't just fucking leave, okay? If you're gonna wear these socks, you have to spend the night.
Why? I don't understand.
These socks are not meant to be in shoes. You have to wear them and stay.
Niggas that take them socks off.
You got to pull it out like condoms or whatever.
Dominican style, yeah.
It's just part of the preparation. You know what I mean? Take off whatever socks you was
Because
wearing.
niggas is already thinking, I can just put the socks on and then just put my sneakers on. And no, nigga.
P said they fancy hospital socks. That's fucked up.
Fancy airplane socks too.
Kennedy says they will be good during a flood. Just saying. Kelso says on God, Shan P. And let me see. Kelso said Mr. Marcus, put some respect on his name. I think that's in regards to what said earlier. And
it was no homo. He wasn't the only nigga doing it. It was a whole culture of niggas putting the Tim on the neck. Okay, that was a thing for early 2000s was wild. All right, you had to be there.
So you think the credit card thing didn't really spread across black men a lot because a lot of black men didn't have credit cards?
You talking about the Nelly swipe in the ass? Yeah, I thought it's just nasty because that's your real card and you really put it in somebody's real ass. You put that bitch back in your wallet. That's wild.
Fair enough.
It's not realistic. It's not realistic. It was all movie magic. That was all for show. It was all movie magic.
Shout out to BET Uncut.
Yeah, salute. Kennedy says, damn, between them socks and COVID, if you cheating, you gotta be there and shit. I'm not sure, but it sounds like he says a lot of preparation. If you Shan P said niggas will put those on, but forget to put a condom on. Yo,
yep.
Sean P, they don't forget. They don't forget.
Oh, that's what they call it?
Oh, that's fucked up.
Sure
they make you think they forgot. Oh, shit. Kelso says it was a whole culture of niggas putting Timbs on the neck. And Kelso says, don't judge me, Shan P. Yeah, man. So, this has been fun. I passed out once. You know what I mean? That was crazy, man. That story is crazy, bro. Like, somebody really that you met really wasn't kidnapped and enslaved.
And then the story comes out and it mirrors what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't have been just happening. This shit ain't just start happening.
Nah.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask y'all. What are y'all willing to go into slavery for? Because don't judge this man who got his thumb cut off. He was looking for an apartment. Everybody has something that they're going to sell out for. Everybody has something they're going into slavery for. So what are y'all going to go into slavery for?
I'm glad you asked that question because there are niggas willing to go into slavery to sell drugs. There's niggas willing to go into slavery to slap their girlfriend one last time. There's niggas willing to go into slavery, you know what I'm saying, to get a Louis bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
that's some real shit.
Yeah.
My fault,
man.
Some niggas willing to go into slavery because they just want to let niggas know what it is.
Because of their ego and shit, you know. You ain't gonna play me, nigga.
Right.
I was thinking about that shit we was talking about, and that shit just sounded so much more stupid. That whole concept, just like niggas going to jail and all that over, you ain't gonna talk to me any old kind of way and all that type of shit. It's like, yo, you about to really go sit in a box? You willing to go sit in a box and or die? Sit in a box or sit in a box, basically, dead or alive, over how a nigga spoke to you for fucking a half a minute of your life. You know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy. Niggas definitely willing to go to be enslaved for the littlest shit. Real time right now.
Niggas going into slavery for suck my dick. I know it was kind of harsh. Yes, he shouldn't have came at him like that. But suck my dick is some hard shit. But it's not worth slavery.
When you phrase that whole situation, please next time.
It's the suck my dick niggas you gotta worry about. Remember that.
No, I'm about to say honestly, a lot of niggas is real emotional in this day and age, being raised by their mothers and so forth, not really knowing how to check their emotions. Like, yeah, even if you you should be offended by another man telling you to suck his dick, right? But like at the same time, you gotta control how the fuck you act.
You know what, Steph, though, to piggyback off of what you said, because I've been thinking about all of this since the last show we did, right? I'm not even so sure that we were the guys that we talking about, even including myself, right? I was in a single parent home. Is that all these people were raised by their parents. I think a lot of us were really raised by quote unquote culture and entertainment. You know what I mean? And media. That shit is crazy.
Yo, and so one of the things that I was just talking to a friend of mine about this the other day, and I was like, one of the things that I think I really appreciate is that, but the other thing about it, we all had our own communities. You know what I'm saying? It just so happened that my community was like really like, yo, you need to know about Francis Quest Wellesley. You need to know about Dr. Ben Yakin, and you need to know about all these Black stories that people are just kind of catching up to in the last 5 years. Right. We knew that as a part of our curriculum coming up. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's really important. I think that's a really important part of as a society and bringing people together upon shared values, not on religion, because we're not going to agree on religion and we're not going to agree on politics, but shared values, like if we got a loaf of bread, we should all be able to at least have something in our stomach this evening. That's real simple, you know.
Facts. The media definitely raised us and told us Black people we don't take no shit.
Hey, and honestly, I think by and large, our community lost the opportunity to educate our own children. Like I say this, might get a warning, but listen, these white women have been teaching our children, right? They don't particularly like your children. They don't really care about the results of your children. So we had an opportunity during COVID to really reinstill it, but most broken homes, moms couldn't even afford to stay and actually, teach. And then when they could, they complained. Crazy complaint to the, like, come on, like, you don't even realize you got a gift.
That's a good point.
Steph telling the truth about that. There were parents that were petitioning for the schools to be reopened. There was some schools in New York City, they didn't even want to have the option to homeschool. They was like, no, we want to only have our kids in class.
They was like, take these fucking kids back. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Kennedy says, I ain't going into slavery for shit. Cut my thumb off. I'm sure the work environment ain't shit. Or maybe I'm suing the work environment, or I'm sure the work environment ain't shit. He's not fucking with it. He's just not fucking with it. And Kelso says, if you kill someone for telling you to give them head, you really mad someone exposed your subconscious desire to give a man top. Oh. He said, "Oh, I'm a kill this nigga, but yo, you might go to jail. I don't give a fuck because I'm be living my truth in jail." Oh shit! Oh man, Kennedy says, "Do them motherfuckers have days off? I got questions, but I'm still seasoning my ribs and shit with the onions." He's still going to use the onions. That's a good question.
I'm using the onions too. I'm using onions too.
We using slavery fruit and vegetables. Are we cool with that, y'all?
Listen. If we did nothing that had slave labor attached to it, we wouldn't be able to do anything. Like nobody's tracking their shit down to slave labor. As long as I didn't slave them, I don't give a shit, right?
This the problem I have. This is the problem I have with Tennessee. You putting onions on your fucking ribs, man. This ain't a motherfucking McRib sandwich, nigga. You need herbs. The fuck is you doing?
Okay, you can put onions and garlic in the sauce and use it as
that is a I don't know how to season ass move. Put onions and bell peppers on every fucking meat that you get. Stop it.
No, you need the herb. You right, Steph. You need the herb. I'm not saying you don't need to rub it down and let it. Yeah.
The onions work for. Get out of here.
All right, so
and your homeboy, if he wasn't a slave, then why he didn't get no goddamn workman's comp? Because he cut his finger, he should be getting a check.
It's hard to get government assistance when you don't have a standing address. That's part of the problem. I'm just being honest. So like, you know what I'm saying? I just had, when I was getting my food stamps, I was like, send that shit to my mama house.
Nigga, you need herbs. All right, yo, it's a dope show, man. Oh, speaking of the clap cleats, Queen Elizabeth says when schoolboys do that speed dating, you might need those socks soon. Okay, so we're gonna have schoolboy do some speed dating here on the channel soon enough. You know,
matter of fact, I might just wear them around the house just for practice. You know what I'm saying? I gotta find the good grip spots around the house.
Oh man! All right, yo, look, we just went in. I had fun. You know what I'm saying? We had laughs. We got emotional. You know what I mean? I passed out. It was crazy. Passed out, man. I was laughing too hard, but why? Yo, it's crazy because I was laughing at somebody going into slavery. Like I don't understand how. I gotta watch this show over. Like somebody went into slavery and they cut. Yo, this shit is crazy. This whole episode is bananas, bro. But yo, we're gonna get up out of here. Salute to all my co-hosts. Steph got jokes, B smiles, Schoolboy, MC Mighty, Casey, aka Casey Gaines. Salute to everybody who pulled up. So far, Scott says, "This ain't no McRib." Kennedy says, "Much love to y'all. I love chilling with y'all. Be safe." Salute to my guy Kennedy, man. So y'all know how we do. On the way out of here, we're gonna play some music, but first we're just gonna outro the show, and we want to stay in chat and chat with each other. If not, everybody have a good night, and we should be seeing you on Friday. Y'all free Friday evening, y'all?
Yeah, I want to talk about the Jussie Smollett trial and the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. So I'll send some articles and definitely want to go into my boy Jussie. If the way you ran it on Busy Bone, it's not been a good week for light-skinned biracials with Busy and Jussie. But yeah, I definitely want to come back Friday and talk about Jussie. I
said Jussie was giving them niggas hand jobs, man, shit like that.
Niggas up in the bathhouse. They was masturbating in the gay bathhouse after the gym. He getting $200 footballs.
I don't believe that though, man. It's two gay niggas. Somebody getting bust down.
I don't know how they get down. Maybe they just give hand jobs at the bathhouse.
If they let Kyle go, they can let Juicy go.
But did he say they was masturbating together or they were masturbating each other? Because they could have just been beating off.
Well, they had home.
Check. I feel left over, I stepped over. A young nigga from the west side of Westover. I crept over the system, stepped sober. Never drunk when I glisten. Young Hova, young Gil Scott Heron. Talking to the people, they listen, but they don't hear them. Banging through your eardrum, hoping that you don't fear them. But learn to elevate from the places you get your fear from. Our Father, that art in our fathers, that helped us manifest in our mothers, so that we can see ourselves in our brothers. We are not just self, we are all others. Check. I feel left over, I stepped over. A young nigga from the west side of Westover. I crept over the system, stepped sober. Never drunk when I glisten. Young Hova, young Gil Scott Heron. Talking to the people, they listen, but they don't hear them. Banging through your eardrum, hoping that you don't fear them. But learn to elevate from the places you get your fear from. Our Father, that art in our fathers, that helped us manifest in our mothers, so that we can see ourselves in our brothers. We are not just self, we are all others. There ain't no limit to your mental limits. When you learn to elevate, you can't escape from in it and become infinite, whether you're out or into it, and then become limitless when you know what your limit is. I feel left over, I stepped over from Westover to south side of Chicago. It ain't over, I'm a soldier, never fold up. My destiny is in the fist that I hold up. My enemy is no longer externally burning me, but internally learning me and turning me to a better me, challenging me to better me. I bet I'll be better than what they say that I better be. Frankincense on a burning coal, spirit cakes cooking on a burning stove. I learned that Africa means burning soul, so I learned to let it go as I learned to grow. Yeah, there ain't no limit to your mental limits. When you learn to elevate, you can't escape from in it and then come infinite, whether you're out or into it, and then become limitless when you know what your limit is.
Taking over mine. Yeah. Pressure hit the mat, turn it into diamond. Hey. Yeah. Hey. They say my partner of the road. Another story never told. Had the pressure thinking he was gonna fold. That man too loud, then he too focused. He too in tune with what the code is. We won't let money get the change in us. We just too busy, you can't hang with us. And all this drip as if the rain hit us. Switch up, now you look and see who came with us. I send my prayers up to God. Can't fuck with haters, so the odds. Quick money make you hit the block. Running from a nigga, boy, I'm not here what life is. Lord know he blessing me with my kids. Real love, know it can be priceless. Money don't make up for shit that's timeless. Like that grind never chased us, that what made us. In the streets, shit what paid us, couldn't save us. And they got my niggas squad, no two niggas locked up. I'ma have to say free the real once we told the block up. They say my partner of the road. Another story never told. Had the pressure thinking he was gonna fold. That man too loud, then he too focused. He too in tune with what the code is. We won't let money get the change in us. We just too busy, you can't hang with us. And all this drip as if the rain hit us. Switch up, now you look and see who came with us. I send my prayers up to God. Can't fuck with haters or the odds. Quick money make you hit the block. Running from a nigga, nigga, boy, I'm not. You snitching now. Why you testing by some numbers, boy, you tripping now. I'ma tell them people listening, I'm innocent. Man, you know I'm just an ordinary citizen. We the good guy, but some more time. And my niggas never disguise, show up surprise. Then they got my niggas squad, though two niggas locked up. I'ma have to say free the real once we told the block up. They sent my partner up the road. Another story never told. Now the pressure thinking he was gonna fall. That man too loud, then he too focused. He too in tune with what the code is. We won't let money get the change in us. We just too busy, you can't hang with us. Ain't all this drip as if the rain hit us. Switch up now, you look and see who came with us. I send my prayers up to God. Can't fuck with haters or the odds. Quick money make you hit the block. Running from a nigga, boy, I'm not. No.
I just wanna take my family round the globe. Show them that it's more to life than most will ever know. Leave that comfort zone and you won't get a chance to grow. The master is inside yourself, you find that you can glow. I get teary-eyed when I think about my plans, cause it ain't include leaving family and friends. But this life was written way before I came to be. I'm just here to play my part until it's time to leave. Don't complain about your situation, nigga, change it. Pray for health, wealth, peace, love, not to be famous. Gotta stay on guard, man, this world is sick and dangerous. Marvin's song was going on and still I see no changes. Sacrificed my dream, but really what was rapping worth? I'm gonna be the proudest watching Zai become a nurse. I'm gonna be the proudest watching Nazo start to sing. Baby, love my unicorn, gon' blossom to a queen.
I know you can make it, keep your head to the sky. I know you can do it, keep your head to the sky. I know times is hard, but keep your head to the sky. Head to the sky, head to the sky. I know you can make it, keep your head to the sky. I know you can do it, keep your head to the sky. I know times is hard, but keep your head to the sky. Head to the sky, head to the sky.
I cut off the news because they selling people fear. People blaming 2020, but it ain't the year. You been fucking up because you sitting on the couch, watching life go by and talking down inside your house. Put out negativity, that energy returns. Universal laws is undefeated, hope you learn. Death is graduation, but the living stay in hell. Maybe this a test to see who worthy to prevail. Rona might exist, but I believe it's about control. Prodigy been told us that they want a nigga's soul. Trapped us in the house, it got me feeling like a slave. That bitch inside the Oval Office want us in the cage. This a horror story, man, it's time to burn the book. Rearrange the story, get back everything they took. Do it for the culture and the color of my skin. Melanated people, we gon' be on top again.
I know you can make it, keep your head to the sky. I know you can do it, keep your head to the sky. I know times is hard, but keep your head to the sky. Head to the sky, head to the sky. I know you can make it, keep your head to the sky. I know you can do it, keep your head to the sky. I know times is hard, but keep your head to the sky. Head to the sky, head to the sky. I know you can make it, keep your head to the sky.
I know you can do it, keep your head to the sky. I know times is hard, but keep your head to the sky. Head to the